think one of the interesting and fun things coming into this series, right, is NC Slasher, because why? He was on Boom before, baby.
he was. And I think the best thing, like, what ONIC G is showing is how well they work, obviously, as a team. But, like, on the side of Boom, the aggression is something that some teams just can't really play up against. You know, it's so much, like, thrown straight into them. And if they're overwhelmed, that's when teams can really get worked over. You know, I got to remind you guys about the other day, you know, on Fracture. So I'm expecting to see much more from Boom as well.
You spoke of Severine just now, and I really want to compare him to Flip, if possible, because Severine and Flip, they're not necessarily the duelists, but yet in terms of their combat score, in terms of damage, they have one of the highest we've seen so far.
Yeah, and I think when it comes to Flipshooter specifically, everybody has a lot of eyes on him when it comes to the chamber, right? It's almost been the agent that he should always be on and not pulled off completely, because the amount of frags that come through, the consistency is going to be the big word that I use here, because you can rely upon him so often.
Yeah, and Severine's able to do a lot of damage, like from the controller role, also very important as well. Being able to push your team into that position and be reliable. That was the big thing that I took away from the series yesterday, is his reliability, was his consistency to pick up when the team was sort of lacking in positions.
When you look at Severine, I think of someone very reliable that really needs to step up when the last chance sort of person, right? But when you look at Flips, he's a sort of person that he will set it up for his team, but if he has to play selfish for those picks, he absolutely would. His utility usage has been on point in terms of playing with his team or alone. He makes them both work.
Yeah, and I think coming into this series as well, there needs to be an element of both, right? We need to see the individual performance come through from Severine like he was able to do against Order, because if we get a little bit of a lacking team come through for ONIC, Boom can be that squad that can walk over them, but you can say the exact same thing the other way around, right? If Flips is also not doing it, you need to see the rest of the team. I kind of look at this series as being an interesting one where all 10 players in this server will probably have pop-off moments in this server.
Yeah.
It's really hard to pick, like, overall. I think it's going to get scrappy, too.
Yeah, because they play with each other a lot. They're literally on the same server. I mean, if they run ranked games, it's likely that they'll be running into each other. Regardless, I mean, as I said before this morning, if we were to say what Boom is to me, they're like a very heavy rock, unstoppable, kind of like a snowball, just gets bigger and bigger as it goes down. But when you look at ONIC, they're a team that's like as swift as an arrow, very sharp, very straight, very fast. So it's really hard to predict which team can come out on top. Personally, for me, I'm really liking ONIC, because ONIC is just a little bit up there in terms of mechanical skill, in terms of ability usage. But what about you guys? What do you guys think?
I've gone the other way for this series, actually. I think the Boom, from what we've seen from them individually and as a team right now, yes, they did drop a map over towards Griffin early on, but we still saw a lot more substance from them when it came to the structure, when it came to their aggression on other maps like that Fracture one that we were able to see. And I think coming in towards this one right now as well, we have two teams that are extremely aggressive. One of them is going to have to slow down a little bit, and I think that Boom are just more adaptable at the moment than ONIC has been.
Yeah, absolutely. My main prediction is it's going to go 3 maps. I'll start there. And the only other thing is Order Enjoyer. ONIC G beat Order, so ONIC G is going to win this one, alright? That's where I'm going.
That's literally just that.
Nah, look, overall, super young team, super hungry team. They've proven a lot recently, and I think they definitely just have a little tiny bit more than what Boom do at the moment.
So, what do you guys think? Will this map be heavily influenced by map picks? Because just now's match was, you know, as Kremer and Pavlo said, it was all based on veto at that point. But for this?
I think it potentially could be. I think if you're looking towards that 13-1, it probably wants to disappear from this series right now. I don't really think that ONIC want to contest Boom on that map just by given what we've seen, unless they do have something sneaky up their fingers, right? Against Order, it could, you know, it didn't happen, but
Yeah, no, I think the maps will definitely be super important in that regard, because again, on the pacing notice that we have seen already, especially if that Fracture comes out, I'm more interested to see what each team is going to be banning themselves.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I mean, Fracture looks absolutely scary when given to Boom, but Bind will be the first ban. And why do you think it's very important to take out Bind and Ascent here?
I think when you're looking at it, there's a lot of maps here that could be picked from this series completely, and I think maybe the safety net is something that needs to be thrown out here as well, right? Down the middle of the pool, it could be a very close contended series. So I think going to the extremes of the map pool would be something wild, and I think this is as most extreme you can get, right? Breeze into Fracture, as I mentioned.
Are we going to get Icebox?
It probably wanted to be banned. ONIC going without that. Icebox being there, so
would have been the spicy 3.
Fracture and Haven?
Haven, yeah, that would be the last one.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at it this way, I mean, when you come back to MYSG scene, Haven is usually the decider most of the time.
Yeah.
But the fact that we have 2 extremes for the first one really shows the difference or the styles of gameplay between the two. If you look at ONIC, they're very, very aggressive. Not aggressive, sorry. They're very, very sharp with all of their shots. It's very rare to see Monyet really whiff if you think about it. But as for Boom, the way they use their usage is just so great for those really, really tiny corners and just flushing people out.
I think this is more a veto that plays in towards the team's strengths more than trying to ban what your opponent's weak against.
Absolutely.
I like that.
Yeah, it works out really well, I think, just for an entertaining series. That's where I'm going to right now. I can't look at that veto and go it favors any side. Breeze, very challenging map in its own right. Fracture, obviously, very momentum heavy. And then going into Haven, which I'm going to assume that we're going to end up there, it's a scrap fest, right? Like, it's an attacker-sided map on the preference, right? If we see some momentum going, I think we're going to see some highlight plays.
Okay, so let's talk about the first map here. Let's talk about Breeze. So ONIC choosing Breeze, I understand why. They're good at their aim duels. They're good at having this really interesting positioning for all those really wide areas. But what can Boom do to overcome that?
I think taking a lot of space early. Again, I kind of bring this back towards my aggressive statement that I said earlier. Both of these teams are extremely aggressive in nature, and it is kind of, I feel, maybe in the first couple of rounds going to be who is the team to keep that aggressiveness and who's going to be the first one that is forced into a corner, forced to change their game plan.
And I keep tasking back to that map that we saw, obviously, against Order yesterday, is how strong ONIC G were, right?
Yeah.
They were, it felt like they were just 2 steps ahead the entire way.
Fast.
It was almost, exactly right. You know, Order were looking for the flank, they were looking for these defensive positions, and also they looked like they felt like they had a step up, and then all of a sudden they were getting shot in the back, and ONIC G were just everywhere around the map.
I think ONIC's main focus around beating Order as well was the contingencies. It wasn't just having one game plan on these sites, it was having multiple different angles, multiple different plans of attack if they lose that opening player. Usually what you would assume that, you know, pro Valorant players would be doing, but ONIC just had those reads early. They let Order walk in towards their domain, and they just closed the doors on them.
I really like that. Walking into a trap is a really nice way of putting it. And let's see if Boom Esports will be walking into the trap laid by the... Is it a hedgehog? Is that a hedgehog?
Sonic?
Is that a hedgehog?
ONIC's logo?
Yeah, it's a hedgehog,
Maybe?
right?
ONIC? Sonic? Maybe?
Yeah, maybe it's a hedgehog. So maybe they'll be run over. Who knows? But guys, Kremer, Pavlos, do you think ONIC's logo is a hedgehog?
It probably is, right?
They've got one task on this map. They've got to go fast, Pavlos.
Yeah, they got to go fast. They got to win this. And of course, being an Indonesian derby, you have to wonder who will come out on top of this, right? These 2 teams have had a lot of history.
Yeah, a rich history as well. 9 times they've played against each other in recent memory, with ONIC currently leading that 5-3. This is in a series score, not a map score. So there's a very, very high chance that ONIC go into this as favourites, despite the fact that Boom is ranked higher.
Katanya 9 kali bertemu, ini yang ke-9 kalinya, dan skornya tuh 5-3 dimenangin oleh ONIC.
Yeah, there's a lot
selama
of hype
ini
behind this
kalau
as well.
match ketemu.
Yes, this is the upper bracket
Gitu,
kind of
Joey.
seeding.
Let's go.
So yeah, there's a lot on the line, right? It's kind of getting you into the top 4 spot approximately. So yeah, no, a lot of pressure on these teams, and I think a lot of them, both of them have kind of been on the rise as well. Both of them have got something to prove in the APAC region in general. And yeah, having a look at the first map, Breeze, you can definitely know that it's going to be a banger.
What's quite interesting actually is for Breeze, it's a fairly orthodox setup from ONIC. We're not seeing anything too wild just yet. I am liking the fact we're seeing
sama
KO show up. For me, Flipside, he's had an incredible performance on
ininya
recently.
juga.
So he is I'm watching out for. I know everyone sort of said desserts, but I'm a big Flipside fan.
Yeah, no, same. I mean,
beda 2 agent.
That's the right way to go. But yeah, no, Breeze is a map that, you know, we've seen a lot of like heavy sort of gunfights going on. But, you know, the long distance of Breeze is kind of going to highlight these scoped weapons, right? The operators, your chambers, if you will. So we'll keep an eye out on them more and Famous, Elmi more like and Famous. Both of them are going to have, well, potentially a game deciding sort of impact in this matchup. So yeah, let's get this game started. ONIC on the attack, Boom on the defense, and it's ONIC now leaning towards the left side of the map.
What I really like is that both of these teams are very, very aggressive, which means that the ability to slow from either the chamber or the KO is going to be crucial here. On the chamber, Famous going to take a bit of
15 anjir.
Mighty to continue his foray onto this B site.
ONIC pushing forwards, they do have a lot of space. Flip should and Famous don't get it all done.
Kena slow.
will be able to get themselves
kena slow
out of this
trademark.
one. And it is Boom.
Itu jadi masalah cuy, kena slow trademark. Sama kena apa? Snake bite, vulnerability.
Aduh, showing us exactly why. For ONIC now, the thing is their win conditions are a little bit more broad than Boom is, because every single player on ONIC has the ability to just show up and tear through their opposition. So for me, what I'm really looking forward to seeing is who comes online.
Tadi dikit lagi loh, chambernya mati tuh. Asam 15 HP. Monyet 14 HP.
Interesting, of course, with Boom getting most of their weapons out of here. Super hyped about this one, Crema. I mean, we've been looking forward to casting all day. Not that the games before it disappointed.
We've got a banger to follow up, let's be honest.
Exactly. It's all looking very, very tidy. Well, tidy is not exactly the word, but it's all looking neat. In a way that it's looking good.
What I really like actually is you look how ONIC have spread for their default. All of them sort of upgrading their pistols a little bit. Of course, the Headhunter and the Chamber. They're just looking for a few kills here or there. It's not one big defined strategy. That Spike's still back in their spawn. A kill would be great here, but what that means for Boom is that isolated players is going to be that little bit easier. Corridor is going to be the main point of contact though, with Blaze King the player to be tested.
Blaze King is the first one to get the kill as well. Seems to be a bit of a follow-up. Snake Bite does push
nice. Severin sih pakai utility-nya GG aja. Kalau nggak kepus ke belakang, kepusnya ke situ, ditembak di situ sama Severin.
Look how deep he's in the defenses of Boom.
Deep behind enemy lines, or more importantly, he's cut off all rotations to this A site. For ONIC now, remember, with Sheriffs and very little armor, if any armor, you're actually favoring just trading 1-for-1 because the economic damage on Boom will stack up. NC Slasher, though, needs to be wary of this KO. This duel is everything.
Oh no.
Well, NC
Slasher nggak ngelihat coy.
He tried to wrap around.
Nggak ngelihat dia.
Okay, fair enough. He wanted to try his best to find himself an opening, but it's expected from Boom as they have cleared it out. But it
Chambernya. Famous.
It is famous that it wraps all the way around the mid pillar.
Tinggal nunggu teman-temannya doang sama waktu. Nggak bisa udah. Tapi udah kalah gan juga sih.
The only kill that ONIC get is the one at the start on Blaze King. The rest fall quite quickly.
Clean and disciplined, exactly what you want to see when you were opening
Anjir, disiplin banget sih. Nunggunya lama banget tuh, sabar banget.
He realizes the attack's
nunggu
coming this way.
info
He realizes he's outnumbered and instead pays attention to the time. Only about 13 seconds left.
Tapi di map Breeze emang
you buy enough time for your teammates to come, and once
info lebih
it's just a matter of being able to shut down the remaining players. Really calculated start from Boom.
Kecuali Peprex ya, mainnya Peprex beda sih.
The one thing to watch out for is how quickly Flipshider can be able to bring out that null command. For me, I think if he's going to be aggressive, granted he's not on the right side at the moment, but an early usage of it could be perfect.
Di mid, ke B, satu juga di itu tadi. Udah pindah tuh. Blaze King ngeliat hole, ketahuan satu orang.
Reminder, this is their own map pick. So heading into this one with a good start on the attack
is
exactly what they'll be looking for, and this is a crucial one to come through. Fairly small attacking piece here. This is toxic screen, and it does allow Monyet to push very, very fast here, very forward. Severin as well from the other side opens things up as Berserks ends up falling, and we're looking at Boom being at a bit of a disadvantage heading into this retake.
Monyet di sana aja.
So kills are really what Boom are going for here. Even being able to save a Vandal could be
untung aja.
Trapped here, Fragment forcing him a little bit forwards, but his team though have his back by placing the toxic screen further. Opening it up, Monyet will try and go for something similar like he did before. Split between two players, and now there's an opportunity for
dapat satu masih.
even more.
Kira bakalan mati dia tadi.
We're looking at a very close scoreline when it comes to the numbers. Fairly equal, but Monyet says no to that, puts ONIC on top, and gives his team the first round.
If ONIC weren't if they were just even a little
saya
bit
cuma satu sih.
That could have been a very different
dari
round.
APAC tuh cuma dikasih satu slot kan buat champion.
Towards the latter stages of that round, but it does not matter. Keeping three players alive means your economy has a chance to flourish, and for Boom, it's a chance to move to your full buy. Famous taking a risk with an early operator. Now this is a bit of a gamble. Look what it's done to the money of Boom. They really need this, otherwise that lead they got off the back of the pistol round is going to be completely mitigated. Both Famous and Flipshitter both are kind of one away from their ults, so something to watch out for. And I really want to say I actually like the buy of the operator here, because you have the tour de force next round regardless of if you get a kill or not.
Jadi siapapun lah, yang penting champion ini aku berharap satu tim Indonesia. Ada yang pure tim Indonesia. Kalau Peprex kan dua pemain Indonesia, tapi bukan tim Indonesia.
Against a team that's so explosive like ONIC.
And they know that Omimo is very far forward
Berserk
as well.
Udah sampai situ dong.
But there's contention to follow through.
Wah, ini kalau nggak dicek sih paling nggak Berserk dapat satu nih. Oh no, posisinya.
To potentially come for a flank as soon as Dekmato gives the call that they're pushing. Could be an opportunity. Even Monterey with a kill. Even has time to draw out the snake bite. Even's got time to bring out.
Tapi tetap berserk di situ aja. Nunggu dia. Timing. Ketahuan. Rajin banget anjir. Rajin ONIC. Masih dicek lagi. Soalnya dia ngerasa ada ini kan. Dimajuin Viper sendirian nggak mungkin.
Now the operator retaking here is really not the weapon you want if you're famous.
This could potentially
Famous dipinjam dari Persija.
They'll want to be giving it their best. Famous desperately trying to find an angle to work with, even finding elevators positions, but it's Blazeking first to enter. Shiro will clearly find him as he's stranded onto that site, but being stranded means
posisinya jelek banget.
Famous thought he missed the first shot. Think again, because he's got a headhunter.
Wah, susah.
Wants to push forwards, but no, he cannot do that. And Famous left in a really spot. Operator in hand, a single point of health replenishing the toxins, but it's not going to be enough for him. The equalizer is found by ONIC.
I love how calculated that retake of Cave was there. Really effective, and it shows.
ONIC
shows that these teams know each
Wajar
other,
sih,
and
mereka
that
lebih
knowledge
confident.
means that the second they know Tabotals there, they know there's probably going to be someone on the close angle. Instant flash from NC Slasher, it's calculated. ONIC, I love this. I was worried going into this tournament that their sort of explosive, flary playstyle where they just hunt for kills may come back to bite them. In this case, we're seeing some
itu dapat 1 kill lagi itu
Vipernya.
Nice itu tadi. Kalau bisa dapat 1 kill lagi.
Putting him in a good position.
Saya nggak dapat.
100%.
Snake bite-nya di push.
I'm just wondering what kind of pacing we'll be seeing today, right? Because so far the match is very, very fast-paced, very
Famous ketahuan lagi cuy. Hati-hati nih.
In your face playstyle, but this one I expect ONIC to just sit back a bit, and that's exactly what they do here.
What I really like from Boom is that even when their economy isn't too great, when they are only on sheriffs, we're still seeing aggression. We're still seeing that tour de force get used like a scalpel to just shave off bits of flesh from ONIC. With money down, trying to get onto this site is going to become much harder.
Oh, Famous' rotation is perfect.
Kukira juga aku tadi udah kelewatan makan dulu kan.
Yes, flip shitter falls.
Ini dapat 1 lagi nih.
And it completely opens things up here for Boom. Gives them a clear opportunity to have double the amount of players alive than ONIC does.
Pakai tour de force tuh. Kalau masuknya tanpa utility susah banget. Anjir, mau picking. Kalau ngelawan tour de force, dapat lagi ya.
Famous really roam towards this map. Might be doing this single-handedly. He's got 4 in his bag.
Ace anjir, Famous.
Single-handedly for Boom.
Bavlos, this is how our series is going to start.
Apakah Famous akan ditarik nanti ke Boom?
In just 5 rounds.
Bagaimana Iyo dan kawan-kawan? Tapi enggak sih kayak. Coba pinjem doang kan. Loan doang.
As we said, they were utilizing him beautifully to send him out to just pick off 1 player at a time.
Anjir, Famous sudah 12 tuh. Masih 5 round, 12 kill.
Which is everything. And that comes with knowledge of your opponents. We're going to emphasize this throughout the series. This is the 10th time these teams have played against each other. Of course they're going to know each other's play styles.
Anjir,
this is crazy to me. This is crazy to me. I think this is just a clear statement
udah
that this is going to be a very exciting game.
Mid-nya nggak ada, langsung pindah tuh si sofanya. Pindah ngeliatin hall. Atau dicek pakai old drone kalau kalian ngeliat.
Yeah, something I've seen from ONIC so far is that sometimes their map control can be a little bit shaky. We're seeing Boom's given a lot of space to go for these picks, to go for these early angles. Famous has another operator, so we really see emphasis Boom now on being able to get these wide angles and this vast array of map control. Berserk's considering aggression as well, shows on this control.
Di call rotate pasti.
Allowing Boom to do it. Seekers are deployed, but is that enough?
They've also sent a toxic stream towards the B side as well, so it's kind of putting question marks in Boom's brains. Is this going to be a B here? Is this a fake? Is this an obfuscation of their movement? And the Seekers thrown towards the other as well.
Anjir. Kagak masuk-masuk Asem.
Susah nih.
Ini masuk sih harusnya. Nah, nice. Masuk nih.
Aldrin got a light looking to help them push forwards, and that's Berserk's now fallen. One into the back end of the side is clearly picked up by
ada lagi, Cuk.
Very nice.
Nice.
Drops as well. Over eager to find his team an opening, but it's not quite there.
Planting, rotation, dari belakang, kena treatment, nanti ketahuan tuh. Atau saving. Oh, saving tuh. Saving tuh ada operator soal. Nah, ini nunggu exit frag doang.
Retakes are still very much viable once you have a level standing when it comes to player counts. But for ONIC, it's a clean execution, a really solid entry, and a really nice way to isolate then kill Berserks. It was actually killed by Severin, who didn't have the who had an inferior inferior weapon. It's just with the assistance of his team, with the fact they were able to just collapse onto each player one at a time.
Pengalamannya kalau ngomong. Komentatornya lagi ngomongin masalah Severin itu tadi dapat kill kan pakai apa tadi dia? Nggak tahu.
I don't know what you're thinking here. I mean, this is very early days as well in the matchup. This is early days in the map itself.
Iya ini ya, bekas pemain PB dulu.
ONIC showing their distinct playstyle of wanting to play the macro play, wanting to play
pro playernya PB. Tapi PB redup. Nggak tahu dia, kemudian Valorant muncul dia terjun di Valorant.
How can they dictate this pace?
We're seeing a lot of progresses for info, but not so much reacting on that aforementioned info. It was just a single, wall from the Viper, and that pulls 2 players.
Kalau andekan itu jetnya mati tuh ya, pas ketemu apa? Viper ya, kena ini dia, kena tag, pasti mati kena ininya, Hunter Fury.
Wherever and whenever he can, and being a little bit more stagnant, that's what gives ONIC the chance to explode onto these sides. So we're seeing that change of play now. Flip Shidder pushing through mid, and look at the angle Famous has now. He's going to be able to take
zero point-nya belum dipakai. Habis ini dipakai nih.
He's given his position away, and now ONIC, the ball falls into their court.
Wonderful adaptation here for Boom and a clear.
Dipakai tuh. Ketahuan.
Oh, not quite in position.
Posisinya hampir aja. Famous kena juga aja.
Excuse me. Where do those kills even come from? Boom instantly fall. All 3 players nearby are no longer with us.
Teleportnya awkward anjir posisinya. Di cave itu tadi. Tapi secara match up, ini ke-9 kalinya ketemu kan. Ini baru ke-9 kalinya. 8 kali itu skornya 5-3, menangan ONIC. 5 kali ketemu, menang 5 kali ONIC, 3 kali. Ini yang ke-9, nggak tahu deh.
That is incredible.
Susah banget anjir. Mau nge-retake-nya gimana? 2 orang, 1 pakai OP lagi. Nggak mungkin bisa.
I think they've identified that Famous is having a standout game, so they're continuing to feed those operators. The one thing that worries me though is
soalnya saat retake itu pasti mereka ngumpul kan. Pasti double picking. Kalau pakai operator kemungkinan cuma bisa dapat 1.
We need to see an early timeout from Boom.
I guess we're also seeing the discrepancy between how simple it is for a chamber to have an impact game on the defense rather than the attack.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tapi ini ekonomi tidak bagus. Call time out beneran. Ekonomi nggak bagus sih. Lihat tuh 3.000. Mereka mungkin bisa light shield. Light shield ini serif mungkin 3 orang.
As soon as they lose tempo, they want to make sure that they're in the
soalnya berikutnya harus bisa beli kan mereka. Ya harusnya light shield serif seharusnya. Kalau nggak gitu cuma ini pakai heavy shield. Kalau Famous sih pakai heavy shield doang, pakai headhunter cukup.
With their initial pushes, that by the time the option of a retake comes in, Boom are kind of 2-3 players down to the extent where going for a retake is just not viable. And I like the fact they're not suiciding to try and get as much damage.
Ini kan 7 round, tinggal 5 round lagi. Paling nggak harus menyamakan kedudukan. Mumpung belum jauh ya kan.
Online for them, absolutely not, because considering how ONIC are doing economically, it's the complete opposite, right? They're booming right now and getting another victory here, which is probably what we're going to be seeing, unless Famous. Well, he doesn't have a tour with a force to kind of pop off that round, but it's starting to get a little bit one-sided.
Flip Jeder force buy. Mau dipakai berarti nul komennya.
What's interesting to me is the fact that they've actually allowed Berserks to hold on to the operator. I think they've realized
enggak jadi cuy. Dia pakai ini. Pakai apa? Spectre itu tadi.
They need Berserks to be
Famous pakai
monyet
anjir. Bener. Dia pakai popping apa namanya? Popping pick. Jadi dia open banget sampai crosshair-nya musuhnya nggak bisa gerak tuh.
Elmimore's got all the space in the world to do whatever he pleases. And he says, yes, please, I want more of that.
Mau ambil ini cuy, mau di save lagi, ngambil apa namanya? Operator.
And Money is just delivering Pavlos.
He's feeling it.
And we're already seeing our standout players of this map, potentially this series.
Popping swing itu kayak yang dilakuin monyet itu tadi. Dia langsung apa ya istilahnya, langsung sidewalk gitu, jauh. Jadi kalau kita ketemu kayak musuh kayak gitu kan, crosshair-nya harus dipindah gini cepat. Kemudian pas kita udah berhenti, dia baru duluan nembaknya jadinya. Makanya tadi tetap menangan si monyet daripada ini tadi.
come back in this game. They've got their guns, they've got their ultimates. If they don't do this, I think they may be in trouble.
What I like is actually Famous goes for the glass cannon operator. He realizes he needs to do this to Elmore, otherwise you're going to end up with Elmore just popping off, tearing through with money
langsung bawa balik lagi guys.
And Boom just can't afford for that to happen. ONIC,
mau jadi anchor
they are
gitu.
currently winning 5-3
dulu.
when it comes to
Nunggu di
these,
call.
when it comes to this head-to-head matchup. Maybe we found Boom's kryptonite, and to find it in the LCQ where it matters most, Pavlos, that's really got to weigh on the Boom psyche.
It's a matter of national pride.
It really is.
Anjir, main waktu doang, main sabar-sabaran kalau gini. Soalnya nggak dapat
And
info.
it's definitely not gonna die down here in the last chance qualifiers.
I wonder how loud the Indonesian counters are right
udah
now.
di open nih. Habis ini di strike nih.
Nah,
ini udah masuk pelan-pelan.
Ace there with Tour de Force, you know, when the rest of the team only had pistols.
Yep.
Okay, look at this movement coming in from ONIC. They garnered a lot of space.
Ketahuan.
ONIC may be in trouble.
Ketahuan.
The wall goes down.
Wallnya turun saat ini sih.
Communication there from ONIC, but they still want to continue nonetheless. Dekpodor, he himself may be stranded, but able to run away with his life. Hunter Fury doesn't hit the mark. Able to be
kena nih. Mati.
Shira may be in trouble. Yes, he is. Blaze King.
Mati kalau udah kena tag di tengah tuh mati pasti. Kalau udah levelnya pro gini mati pasti. Hampir aja itu tadi di push Sensi Celeste. ONIC udah ketahuan si Elmimo tadi posisinya. Udah mati nih Elmimo.
Yeah, not gonna happen, mate. Not gonna happen.
Dapat satu. Masih lumayan.
I mean, he saw bullets being sprayed across that smoke. I was like, how did he see him? Well, he didn't. He just saw the spray pattern just running at him. But still, this is Boom back in the game.
What I really like actually is that
harus dapat sih Boom di round itu tadi. Kalau nggak gitu,
a little bit early.
Ini susah mereka
the premise
ngejar.
is there, which is ONIC, there are collapses onto these A sites. They've never been one-dimensional.
5-7 nih kayaknya.
Corridor players and that's really what's been catching out the big rotations, preventing them from cancelling plants. And in committing that Viper's Pit early, you just rule out any option of there being a follow-up or from ONIC to get out of the site anywhere but through main. Really like that. The one thing I am sort of hesitant to see now is whether or not Boom can mimic that success without the ultimates, without the Hunter's Fury, without that aforementioned pit.
Udah blinded tuh. Blinded, ketahuan musuhnya. Nice.
Oh
no. Udah disiapin aja.
Udah ketahuan. Crossfires. This is all coming together for them. Nicely traded from Elmimo. Does keep them in contention, but they need a hell more lot to do.
Tapi Severin masih hidup ya.
Stay in this one, and especially
Severin anjir udah sampai situ langsung.
Wow,
udah ketahuan juga.
It seems like Boom is fully aware. They know everything. They know what's
soalnya
going on.
ini wallnya ketahuan dari wallnya sih. Dia wallnya motongnya kayak gitu cuy. Orangnya pasti kalau nggak di City ya udah lewat mid.
The one thing that ONIC have going for them right
paling
now
nggak dapat plan lah, dapat duit tambahan.
What they do need to be able to do though is get this plant and get off this site before Boom collapse on them. There's Famous chiming in, and now Elmimo low HP doesn't matter. Famous sends them to the next round, 5-5. Pavlos, only do we have a game on our hands. I guarantee you, this is a series on our hands.
Boom a couple of rounds ago went for that timeout. The soon initiation after that with a pistol wasn't too successful. ONIC seemed poised to carry on to close out this half on a good note. But Boom since then, since they've had rifles
kalau nggak
in their hands,
ya
able to come back,
5-7.
stabilize things, bring things to an equilibrium.
Tetap di ONIC sih aku
and now
kayaknya
there is a
5-7.
good chance of ONIC being behind.
Harusnya sih ada perubahan ini. Mereka masih bisa beli kok. ONIC masih ekonominya masih bagus.
What I absolutely love is ONIC calling the timeout this early. They realize that momentum is everything. They realize they've sensed the shift in the tides, and now they're just trying to use it to make sure that they can get a hold of these next.
Sadar nggak? Tadi habis time out.
Any side on Breeze
Boom langsung
is manageable. So it really is going to come down to momentum saved at the end of this half and taken into the pistol round. Famous still doing well.
Posisi yang nggak bisa dilihat tim. Itu fungsinya coach. Pas gini tuh di turnamen gini si coach tuh ngeliatin semua layarnya ini. Layarnya pemain.
Coming into this one, I know there's a lot of expectations for Boom, and I think Famous has been carrying this team on his back this particular half.
Termasuk ini ya, imbang.
Considering how much reliability he has using that chamber on this map.
Yang saya kemarin tuh apa order tuh. Aku nggak ini aja nggak nyangka order dikalahin ONIC dengan kayak gitu. Ardiu sih dikasih ke KO. Biasanya dia kan bagus di chamber ya. Tapi nggak tahu timnya mereka juga dari Australia.
And Moniet
udah dapat satu tuh.
That's exactly what you kind of been seeing from ONIC so far, right? When it comes to Moniet versus Bisa,
nunggu tuh.
It's always been Moniet to come out on top.
Satu chambernya
real jet difference right now.
Nyoba nyari info tuh chambernya Tom itu.
The rest of the team are doing a very good job of mitigating the impact this has had, but you can't consistently go into a 45.
Wah, ketahuan balik dia.
Bit of a duel into corridor. No casualties yet. In fact, neither player is really going to emerge scraped at all. Just maybe damaged psychologically. As we see Famous go for a bit of an ambitious peek into mid.
Kalau mereka tahu sih ada dua orang kan. Mereka mau ke B harusnya sih.
It's very careful. And that's what matters. If you look on the left extremity, there's only one defender there for Boom.
Oh, rote tuh.
Flipshiller yet to use his ultimate.
Zero mulai.
You better hope he's not peeking that too deep, but it's definitely enough to keep him busy.
Dia mau cari info nih, abis ini di recon tuh
sama Blessing. They split their defenses, they polarize them 2 per site. And it seems ONIC have made a decision. They're going to hit this B site.
30 seconds left as well. If Boom can delay, that's actually all they have to do. Having the KO here is perfect.
Nice! Timing. Timing.
Does get the pick in mid, but he himself dies when he rendezvous away. Now we're looking at a 2v4 over to the B site. Now they push. Flipshiller holding them off with a fragment, holding them off with his gun as well. And so all but he will be getting himself that 1 kill. 10 seconds remaining. Not much time.
Harusnya udah tahu sih.
But Flipshiller is still on the back line. Big brings the space for Famous to deliver. He comes on time.
Itu dilematis tuh dalam kondisi 10 detik kayak gitu. Dia harus ngekill ini Flip Jeder dulu. Kalau nggak gitu pas dia ngeplan ditembak sama Flip Jeder. Anjir, pusing ya. 6-6 berarti. Atau 7-5. Boom yang megang. Wah, itu sih fragmentnya. Dia nge-hold line-nya bagus banget langsung. Kemudian cari angle yang nggak dilihat sama temennya juga. Jadi Flip Jeder tadi yang muter itu angle yang nggak bisa dilihat dari Famous. Famous ngelihat angle yang nggak bisa dilihat dari ini.
How important perhaps maybe for
ONIC
to win this map. Berserk has gone so good with these entries before, but this game
Monyet.
only gets instantly traded. Moniet showing who's boss. Now onto the A site they go. Watch the stream. Giving them
blinded.
Viper's Pit as well. This is the last round. They can use everything they have at their exposure, but Moniet doesn't care about Viper's Pits. He just runs out of it to get more kills. Tekbodal as well.
Oh no, Severin.
Similarly to Severin, right? If he dies of Viper's Pit as well, there may be a chance.
Severin kena ini juga shock dart.
Kills with shock darts and now puts Boom.
Casternya juga ngomong tuh kill best shock dart.
How do they deliver? They've got all hands on the steering wheel, and ONIC is trying to react to it, and they react to it perfectly.
2v1.
2 kills go their way.
Tapi ini lawannya to the force anjir.
And now the spike
to the
can go
force
down
viable banget cuy.
Famous
dibandingin ini ya.
Dibandingin operator. Right? They're playing together.
Kalau buat retake.
They're going to play the trade game. They know what's
kan?
Famous is even quicker to the trigger. Shiro.
Hampir aja.
Shows his elbow.
Hampir.
But decides against it to do his second time. Switches up.
Nice. Nggak di-expect.
Shiro to get him down, and it's Shiro to put ONIC on that.
Anjir. Mainnya sih 50-50. 6-6. Udah bakalan 7-5 ke ONIC.
Really strong stuff from Shiro.
Mainnya Boom bagus juga. Famous sih sama Flip Jeder. Dari tadi jadi ini dong. Playmaker.
Without mentioning Famous, who has had an absolutely stellar half. I'm getting flashbacks to Kadoom, who did so damn well for Made in Thailand. We've got some of our chambers now who are really looking to elevate their teams and take them to the next level. Now, as we enter this second half, the one thing I'm really curious in is Boom made very big and very concerted efforts to get map control on their defense. I want to see if ONIC is able to mimic that success, or if they can find a way to mitigate Boom doing it when they will inevitably attempt to do it.
Itu rapi banget loh, masuk yang itu tadi.
A lot of questions to be asked. One of my main questions here, Krama, really is how important is it for ONIC to actually win this map, right? It is their own map pick. Later on, we'll be heading into Fracture, then Haven, you know. How does this reflect in regards to the map?
So when
itu tadi jeleknya yang masuk dari mid itu kalah mereka karena ini flash durationnya udah habis. Flash durationnya habis, jadi udah bisa ngelihat Jet yang nge-dash juga bisa ngelihat.
how Boom win it if they win it, or how ONIC win it if they win it, is actually what matters more.
And now heading into this one, we can see a clear reflection of those storylines in regards to who is impactful. Famous.
Tapi abis ini fracture sih.
Fracture
nih
considering how close the score has been.
Seru
He is
aja.
already on 20 kills on the 12th round.
Paling seru tuh ngelihat fracture aku.
Now he's on the
Kalau
offense.
di
What
Valorant
can he do? It's his time to prove what he can.
I mean, it's some fairly big boots to fill, isn't it? But the pressure is definitely there. But under some teams, under pressure, they just turn
kemungkinan Pearl bakalan bagus juga kalau
maybe
gitu.
in the rough.
Tapi masih belum masuk
ONIC, let's see if they can
patchnya
defend
ini.
Boom, who get ready
Map
to
Pearl.
assault what is going to be a very fast hit.
BTW champion masuk atau enggak ya?
Not really,
Map Pearl.
Never mind, they go back
Kalau
to
masuk sih keren aja di championnya.
But now heading in towards mid. But you know who else has been debated on it, right? 4 players now towards this B side, could be for good reason, because now they can have a perfect crossfire. Oh, this is going to be really tough. The top screen enables them to start to push forward some money. They're able to weave in and out of battle without any issue. Severine wants to chime in as well. ONIC to a great start this pistol. Players King and Flipshire all that remains for Boom, and they have gained absolutely nothing. No space, no kill.
Mereka harus rotate sih. Kalau pengen aman, paling aman tuh. Tapi lihat tuh. 2 orang udah rotate tuh ONIC juga di City-nya. Zero sama ini Severin.
I'm glass half full kind of guy, and for ONIC, it has been a very solid start to the defense, particularly Severin, who was able to read that flank through mid very quickly. More importantly, he was able to delay it so that the players on site could focus on main, which meant that they were able to sort of fragment Boom's attack. I like how Boom have gone back through mid though. They've read the position where the gap in the defense is, and now going through
walls
through doors. Oh dear. My worry is how will the Sova deal with that?
Yeah, well, he's got the crossfire. He's got the right lineup ready. You know, he can even throw. He doesn't even need to.
Tahu dah, dua-duanya di sini. Calling, temannya langsung jalan tuh.
No reason to get too aggro. He's there to scout things out. Severine now creating a new
bikin
angle of attack.
pusing biar mereka ngeliatin hall juga.
Look how far Boom had pushed up though, playing around that container.
Kelihatan. Tapi pusing kan, kalau hallnya nggak dibuka nggak pusing tuh. Si Blessking.
They're all going to check in this direction. They're all going to start showing their ground.
Karena hallnya dibuka, dia harus nge-hold 2 angle aja. Kalau hallnya nggak dibuka, dia cuma nge-hold mid-nya doang.
Very, very clean round. Something I am interested in seeing, and they did it very well in our first half, is I want to see some early timeouts. Maybe not this early, but next couple of rounds, if Boom end up losing the bonus quite significantly, then I do want to see them start deploying them rather than holding on to them for a little bit too long. When you hold on to the perfect moment, usually you end up missing the perfect moment, ironically. So bear in mind, both coaches of both teams are extremely experienced, so I doubt we'll be seeing that. But what's interesting is when you're on your attack, the chamber, as you mentioned, does fall off a little bit, and it falls to the Jets to make up for that difference. But for Berserks, this has not been his game.
Neither for Elmi, right? It kind of feels like it's lopsided, right? The Jet from one team is doing well, while the Chamber on the other is doing as such. Doing the heavy lifting.
Alter Ego.
So yeah, this is Boom now dropping to the pistols, obviously. ONIC with a chance to seize control of this game, an early lead, if you will. We've seen this go wrong, and honestly, I think that when Famous is in contention, you have to be a little bit scared, to be fair.
I quite like how slow Boom are being. They realise that they've sort of showed their face over on B, they've made a bit of noise in mid, they've destroyed the trademark in A, and it's actually going to allow a free plant here. Let's see if Elmi can start. Oh, the pink
hampir aja itu.
What a recon dart from the Sova there. And even though it's only classics, doesn't matter, you've still got your shock darts, you've still got your snake bites. We may just see Boom back off, play for lineups, and hope to just win via time.
It seems they do have plenty lineups, right?
Ya, nggak ada siapa-siapa anjir. Lihat tuh, Boom di belakang semua.
But you should, with 4 pieces of utility, you should
Flip Jeder mau nge-flank kah?
Kayaknya gitu. You may also see movement coming in from mid, but they're just going to hold on to that spike diffusal, hold off for a little bit more, but they've done the halfway job. Right now, the bullets can chime in. Now the better weapons can do the heavy lifting.
Flip kelamaan anjir. Udah bagus banget tuh. Oh, ya kan?
Flip Shitter can only watch in anger as his teammates fall, but to be fair, it was a tall order.
Sayang banget kelamaan Flip
jalannya. You're right, Palos, it was only an eco, so
kelamaan.
anger, I've heard you say. And so
dia udah sampai dari tadi mungkin dapat 2 kill udah lumayan kan. Tapi ya senjatanya memang kalah sih mau gimana.
Because they haven't actually gone for Bulldogs on their second round, and we've seen a lot of teams sort of bring in kind of 1-2 Bulldogs for your second round buy. So when you end up playing your bonus, you still have a little bit of teeth behind it. In this case, the Spectres mean we are going to be seeing some fairly close plays. I wouldn't be surprised if we see ONIC actually go for a concerted push to try and get map control control. For instance, in corridor,
nice
potentially
play,
in mid, just to try and
Wah,
limit
di ping-ping
Boom's
tuh
capabilities
midnya
at long range.
sama ONIC. Hey, tadi
We are seeing a little bit of an
flip
early
lewat
push, aren't
situ
we?
anjas, nggak ada yang
Exactly what
jagain.
they're doing, pushing forward
Tadi
onto
di
the A
ping-ping
side, flip shoulder.
sebelum matchnya mulai.
Although there is a trade, Famous with the spray down does get rid of Monyet. So it is debatable how much they were able to salvage out of that one. At 1-for-1 on an eco, not that bad, but when you're on defense, it clearly opens up avenues for Boom.
I think for Onyx, bearing in mind they've got the momentum at the moment, they've got a fair bit of cash in the bank. As long as you are keeping Boom's economy low, it's well worth it. Famous is going to spot out a few players just sort of flirting with the idea of pushing into A, but it's all a big ruse. It's all a bids to buy time as Severin pushes up the corridor here.
Severin sih.
Stay to see if his suspicions are correct. Instead, the rest of
Tapi
Boom,
mereka ke B. Ini bisa jadi anchor atau enggak nih? Si Elmimor nih. Dia sendirian soalnya di situ. Dapat 1 kill aja udah bagus lah.
Which is ironic considering
ini udah tahu sih harusnya dia dapat
we want to see more of this guy, especially in the series.
Nice, dapat 1. Dapat 1.
Down to 50 though, and will quickly fall. So B-site under their control, honestly. ONIC prove us wrong here. Severo's got a Vandal, you know. It's a slasher with a Spectre. Shiro, he can do the heavy lifting. Hasn't done too much of that this game, but we'd love
tapi
to
susah
see.
sih.
You know,
Vandal.
Wouldn't be too bad.
Musuhnya pakai Vandal gitu, pakai Sheriff.
Should have this wrapped up.
Bonus sih ini.
But should.
It's
not a certain word, is it? Neither is this round, and therefore we will give them the element of consideration.
Hampir aja kena tag itu Asap.
Moves out of the shadow.
Untung aja.
Oh yeah, it's a good thing.
Itu tadi di ini kan di wallbang dulu.
Nice. The eco buy from ONIC turns out to go in their favor.
There you go. I love how they're able to give the defuse as well.
Mereka dapat Vandal gratis, awesome.
And that's pretty much going to secure double digits with Boom going to the
dapat upgrade gratis.
I would imagine they get one called in now. Something I really
sih
love
jelek,
is the fact that we saw
Boom pakai seri
so
semua
methodical with that
tanpa
armor to zone out players. That counter Viper's wall as well actually came back to bite Boom. And you mentioned ONIC being the underdogs here. Honestly, the potential of an upset. Honestly, these teams are so evenly matched. Yeah. There is no underdog, frankly. It's about, this for me it's the closest series we've had. It's going on paper the closest series we're going to have this tournament.
Like on paper, it should, right?
Yeah, well,
we've seen some close games, and especially considering the games we saw today.
Yeah, as Q was
in
saying.
that lower bracket, you know, this is upper bracket. It's not as squeaky bum time.
Hampir aja.
Okay, how many Sheriff kills will we see this game? That is the question. A site opened up. Spike will be going down.
Berserk di-push.
Kagak jadi.
Mundur lagi.
Yeah, I actually don't like this. I feel like I'd rather see them just go to Sheriffs and then use the extra cash next round.
But it seems it might work at least for a little bit. It may be diffused halfway. Monyet wants to get up in their face. No one falls from ONIC yet thus far, which is important. Snake bites are being lined up, but it being diffused halfway may not be enough of damage to kind of stop them in that regard. Lime is
Elmimor.
Okay.
Straight through again.
Okay, Elmimor.
Pixel one gets a kill.
Do you remember what I was saying? He's having a fairly quiet game. Pavlos, yeah, I'll take it back. Oh, I'm sorry.
Dia langsung pencet Q, langsung ini ngeflick ke sono pakai headhunter.
That second half timeout really needs to come in. There you go. It's for me one round late, but you are moving to your full buy, so you do get a chance to prepare for that.
Harusnya timeoutnya di round.
What I want to see is Boom right now really like playing the line. Like getting the spike down and just getting off the site. I want to see a little bit more aggression. I want to see him try and take orange, or try and even take pillar, or try and even have players in mid to lurk. We haven't even seen lurkers really come into fruition on their attack.
Tapi ini yang aku bilang di awal streaming tadi, kalau ngelihat untuk performanya kalau dibandingin bukan nggak dukung ya. Ini tim Indonesia dua-duanya aku dukung aja. Cuma kalau lihat performanya memang lebih ini ke ONIC. Soalnya Boom itu performanya lagi naik turun.
Something to look out for as well is look at the ult management from both teams. ONIC, they've got 3 available. They're about to get Munyets as well. Granted, Blaze may
ONIC punya duitnya masih 4.000.
The Viper's Pit definitely will. Over on Boom, the counter Viper's Pit is available.
Ini simple nih buat ngasih ngedrop temen nanti satu. Ini juga
really likes to hold on to it until the absolute optimum moment.
Jadi kalau ini kalah masih bisa ngedrop temen. Dan mereka investasi ke operator.
Yes, it's only a 4-round differential, but ONIC, they have momentum, and as we've seen from these Indonesian teams, once they have momentum,
Elmimor dapat 1 kill di early-nya udah ini. Boom agak ketar-ketir.
Now we're starting to see Boom's reliability and famous as well on that previous half, where Still seeing at the top of the standings while the rest of them falling flat a little bit. And that is giving ONIC a mile in their confidence. Fracture being next, of course, isn't all means to an end for Boom at all, is it? It's a tough call.
Tawan tuh.
But with this buy round
udah tahu
coming
dia.
in,
Severin udah tahu ada satu paling nggak di situ tadi.
Discrepancies across the board.
Ditungguin tuh.
You know how this round could
Terburu-buru
be.
dia.
The opener is even more important, right? Famous on top, no damage taken
nggak
from
bisa
the
pakai
blue
util.
side, and now they've got clear alleyway to move in to the A main position. Yes, there's a trademark there, but it may be too late because there's also infiltration onto their back line. ONIC seems split. If they can get picked off one by one, that would be perfect from Boom, and it looks like it's exactly what they're going for. But look at Monyet, he's on the flank.
Monyet anjir, sampai sini dia.
And I don't think they're watching it.
No, nggak dapat kill. Itu yang ku benci dari Phantom Asem. Phantom Moment. No, itu Phantom Moment anjir. Itu pakai Vandal 3 kali 4 kali tag udah mati dia deh.
In they go with 2 players, but how much can you do honestly when there's so many Boom players around? Oh, can you do it all? Shiro with 2 kills, but Berserk is right next to him, which leaves Elmimore on a 1v2, unable to do it.
Bagus banget posisinya tadi. Maunya udah keterlaluan bagus itu tadi. Ya itu kalau pakai Phantom di ini. Nah, langsung pakai Vandal dia. Pakai Vandal dia.
And what's really nice with ONIC, they played that beautifully to have players in position to actually fight on all fronts.
Ya, langsung pakai Vandal dia, lihat tuh.
Crucial angles, particularly the one from Monyet, the player who has been delivering time.
Soalnya kalau pakai Vandal pasti mati tuh tadi. 40 mati udah. Tadi pakai Phantom nggak mati dia. Kena badan semua soalnya. Soalnya kalau satu kena kepala beda cerita.
These duelist stealths are something to watch out for as Boom go for some slow but concerted mid control.
Yeah, it's something we haven't really seen from them so far, right? Usually they've been playing together, trying to go for these takes, and this time it's paying dividends. Without any risk. He doesn't even rendezvous back. He doesn't have it available in that position. He can only just go forwards. Press W. Berserk's maybe there for the reinforcement, but he's holding back himself. Look how NC
Slasher nungguin tuh dia.
He's in the middle of 2 attacking players, and he has no clue. Oh, he's been spotted now. Oh, but he gets nonetheless. Famous
balik anjir. Dia rendezvous.
Severin is pushing forwards himself. Makes noise by
ketahuan Severin.
Spots him. Chaos.
This may actually turn into a false positive now because you've got Shiro and Lemmy.
Zero. Harapan. Jangan ngepick lagi cuy. Udah 1 kali miss gitu, jangan ngepick lagi.
Can Elmimore get there? Is Shiro going to have to do this single-handedly?
He's simply outnumbered. On paper, this shouldn't be feasible, but if he can slowly try and pick them off one by one,
dapat 1, nice.
There's 3 more. This is feasible, palatable.
Pakai Sogdat? Ngechip damage paling enggak?
Elmimore now in the fray. Oh, we know
ini
they're good at these.
Tour de Force ketemu Tour de Force nih.
These retakes, and they're definitely going to give it a go. There's a Hunter's Fury available.
Nah, kena chip damage sedikit.
Barely doing any damage, spotting out the first player, but
nggak dapat kill dia.
to start things off.
No.
Gets caught with his back to
Elmimore terlalu ini cuy, overthinking dia.
Boom are still in this game.
For me, ONIC now need that timeout. It's that shift in momentum. And as we've seen, that momentum is so important over these last couple of rounds.
Anjir, timeoutnya berguna banget ya.
In the rounds where they're outnumbered and having to retake sites, they're able to make themselves look so big. They're able to puff themselves up so much because their utility usage is just perfect. We go into this next round and look at the ult manage from Boom. It may not be required because the buy from ONIC isn't great, which makes me suspect the timeout, if they lose this, is going to be next round. But you notice you have that Viper's Pit for the buy, you've got that Hunter's Fury for the man advantage, and should you end up having to drop to an eco, you have that Blade Storm on Berserks. Boom really couldn't ask for a better position right now.
I love that you said when they're building themselves up, making themselves look big.
Apakah Severin akan dipakai ininya?
I mean, look at their logo.
Nice.
Monia, what an entry, man! Like
timing itu tadi.
Relax, mate. Relax. Your team's on an eco. You don't need to do the heavy lifting. Lime as well. Trades his life. And their defense is looking even more comfortable.
2v4.
Now Boom are split up. They
udah pasang. Nice. Paling nggak mereka nggak bisa ke sini udah.
Tactic. And are falling
pilihan mereka ke B. Kalau masuk ke sini sih susah.
Udah
ketahuan posisinya. Kecip 1 damage.
Doesn't need the kill, he needs the info.
And he gets it, right? He knows exactly where Famous is.
Recon.
He's got the recon as well. Just by shooting at it, just reveals where Famous is. Viper split towards the A site, and Severin is hiding within it, which is a vital aspect of this because there could be a clear pincer move.
Harusnya udah tahu sih Severin posisinya itu nggak di baliknya dia.
Equalizing the playing field. Boom now with players as well as weapons. Seize control.
Nggak, senjatanya nggak
maybe in big trouble. We haven't seen Severin coming to the fight just yet, and he's only got a marshal. No way he can take flip shitter with that gun. Not anytime soon. Moni, he's gotten the first kill quite spectacularly. But it will be a spectacle if he's able to uncover the three that remain, especially when the spike is planted for all three. All Boom have to do is just stay back. They have to make so many mistakes for Moniet to get away with a victory here. 3 bullets, 2 players. And the spike
susah coy. Posisinya. Anjir posisi plannya. Iya, cuma ngulur waktu doang.
As the round is taken from them.
Nggak bisa, dia harus ngelihat angle ini kan dari belakangnya apa yellow ini yang di sini, harus ngelihat hole-nya, harus ngelihat depan sini sama belakang. Soalnya kan satu tadi nggak tahu kan posisinya di mana.
They're able to absolutely shut it down. Famous's presence buys enough time for them to be able to zone out I do apologise, Severin, where they're able to shut. That's the wrong Viper. Where they're able to shut him down and then convert to that spike plant. Here's that timeout we wanted from.
Zero punya Hunter's Fury. Mungkin buat ini nanti. Pas apa? Teh botol pakai Viper Speed, kemungkinan bakalan dipakai tuh sama Zero. Ininya Hunter's Fury. Kayaknya Boom bakalan ke B deh, nggak ngerti ya. Menurutku sih kayaknya bakalan ke B, Boom. Boom ke B pakai Viper Speed.
They can take charge of it themselves by taking a small timeout. They did it the previous half, right?
Yeah.
They seemed in control now on defense, but Boom, they themselves have switched up their playstyle instead of going in the full force, try to play the map a little bit more, play the info. And now it's their turn, ONIC's turn, to show that they can adapt.
Oh, KE mereka.
They can stay on top in regards to these macro plays.
On the topic of adaptation, we do see the operator come
out. And I think
that's a great purchase, bearing in mind that it's the kind of Elmimore versus Berserks now are the 2 players who I really want to see step it up in sort of giving that sniper to Elmimore. You give him that opportunity to do so. He's being relatively passive with it, but to be honest, he doesn't have to be too aggressive because you already have a pretty good idea as to how Boom have been playing. They've not been too sneaky. They've been fairly loud about their approach. The issue is that when Boom are loud about their approach, there's clearly going to be another avenue they have to worry about.
Ini buat ngepanis push. Kalau di push sama ONIC.
That's a great reference. So for ONIC, 1 round I have to worry about for now as they get ready.
Mereka udah dapat size.
Initial defense here.
A slight take coming from flash drive. Flip shitter looking at it.
Ya kan? Viper speednya dipakai.
He's avoiding it. And now has
berhenti udah dibalik.
Kept them alive. The Hunter's Fury would have hit him again, but it gets a lot of tags. That's the important part, and puts everyone to a low health standpoint. But all 5 players survive from each side.
Nunggu ininya habis dulu.
Trying to play lineups again. Fall back into their old ways.
Dulu komennya habis. Flash.
Right, there's a few left
Mati
behind the Viper Spit, which is how ONIC need to get onto the site. Without it, they may be in trouble. First straight through come through, but Severin feels in his element. He loves the toxins, but it is Tekpoto with his own Viper Spit to move in and out of the battle to get himself on top. Blaze King as well, and Famous covering these backlines.
Viper Spitnya sih impactnya gede banget sih. Ngasih ini kan.
10-10, and with Famous now on
SP reduction.
7 kills Pavlos. He is making sure that Boom, kicking and screaming, he is dragging them to this finish line. What I really like as well is, I was worried, as you mentioned, I was worried they're falling back to playing lineups. The same thing that was really harming them in the earlier stages of this half. They've actually made that adaptation, and it shows the on-the-fly thinking that we've seen from such experienced teams. Having Berserks go to the other side of the Viper Spit, then having a few players just lurk in and around the sites.
Well, ONIC now, of course, are forced to the sheriffs, but we see something very interesting going on towards elbow. Actually, it's not elbow, it's mid.
Push.
Maybe in trouble here if he's overwhelmed. He's got reinforcements, but the dash!
The block!
No!
Gets them both, and Blaze King gets 2 of his own. Okay, that's a quickie. That's just the quickie. That's sometimes how the rounds just go. Comes on top.
Masih tajam ya.
Okay, that won't happen. Backed
dengan umurnya segitu.
And Boom is on the 11th. They have now gained the lead after ONIC's initial
Niko kan tua tuh.
And
Seven termasuk tua. 29,
neither team have
28,
timeouts now.
29.
So it's whatever says goes when it comes to speed of attack and who's feeling confident enough to take these duels. Something I do want to note is that Boom have been using these ults fairly frivolously these last couple of rounds, so they're not really going to have any additional abilities to get onto these sites. It just means that they have a little bit more pressure on their aim, but with Famous on another operator. Surprisingly, an attack operator on the chamber, something we don't see all too often, but something that is exactly unorthodox. Really interesting to see what he can do with it.
Jadi nge-kill semua.
27 and 10. Famous is
udah bagus banget anjir.
Carries on.
Ada layer keduanya tapi.
He's on the attacking side now, right? He doesn't care. He's been doing splendidly on the defense, and now he's opening things up by taking slow peeking positions and rendezvousing back when required.
I actually love that from the Sova to shoot the out drone. It means that Berserk's presence in mid isn't spotted. There's the trade. That is really, really effective power. I love it. And now for ONIC, look how their final players are separated. Right now, Shiro is so alone, unless you see some absolutely godlike play.
Ini harus dapat
round ini. We're going to be able to get onto this A site.
Shiro has a highly influential role to play here.
Oh no, recordnya jelek banget anjir. Oh no. Nggak keluar ini double door.
All from different directions. Trademark
dapat satu sih
won't be enabled since the chamber is dead, which means Shiro is literally all by himself. Severin is coming in, but it won't be in time. It really won't. Boom taking their time. Shiro with a first. Okay. Maybe there's a chance. Maybe that's a good chance. No, Berserks will be shutting him down. Maybe Shiro did his job. Maybe that's all he could have done there. But it's up to the rest of them to now pick up the pieces. They will not, though.
Susah. 12
who's boss.
12
and considering this is ONIC's pick, considering they've been so far ahead earlier on in this map, Boom has completely switched that script.
Remember, at the start of this series, we were questioning who
bagus nih tadi menang ini anjir Boom. Konsekutif
ini
momentum dia. Dapat momentum terus maksudnya. 2, 3, 4, 5 gitu udah kena mental musuhnya. Round berturut-turut kena apa sih? Kalah terus itu kena mental sih.
Boom just wants a piece of this pie. Wants to say, we're the best here, guys. ONIC, this is your map pick, but it's our map, though, right?
Yeah, ONIC were doubting it for a while.
Oh, goodness.
They were doubting it for a while, and interestingly enough, now they're starting to
akhirnya mereka menang dapat ini sekali doang.
They're just a moment away from losing their loss. And for Boom, this has been a solid performance.
Yeah, no, the Hounds have definitely figured out how to deal with those prickly things on the back of that hedgehog.
Tuh gerakannya udah bagus loh.
They're taking over. They
Cuma smoke-nya ada delay kan.
Little by little.
Smoke-nya jet.
And now it's map points on their opponents' map pick. So it's ONIC with everything they've got to try and keep them in their game.
Oh, lihat tuh Scrappy by anjir ONIC. Dan El Mimo harus ngekill satu buat ngaktifin Tour de Force-nya dia. Oh, that's not good.
Munyet is going to be able to bring out a Blade Storm, so it's not like undefended going into this. It's just the momentum where they're really lacking. Boom. Look at the cash they have in the bank. They're going to be more than happy to play out the rest of this map. Munyet going aggressive.
Oh no, Monyet ketemu Flip nih.
Should have heard this.
He gives the info about the trademark and goes all the way around to Cave. Oh no, check your right. And he doesn't. That's Flip shot on top, and so is his team.
Look at the rotation this has caused as well. The chamber moves away. The Sova now
tombaknya udah hilang.
They only really have 3 players to worry about should they assault this B.
Kalau El Mimo ke ini juga. Udah. Udah. Aku udah ngomong kan kalau El Mimo udah ini. Udah lihat aja.
Maybe the next place in
Severin mau nge-push. Aku mau ngomong Severin nge-push disikat dia. Aku mau ngomong gitu udah mati duluan dia.
Top here, B side, A side, mid, everything is under Boom's control, and so
nice Boom, GG. Mereka memanfaatkan ininya. Kemenangan ini beruntunnya dia.
That's just round securing, and it's with the guarantee, it's with that confidence do we see Boom elevate themselves to take on.
Habis I'm out, mereka menang, nggak kalah sama sekali.
They were just hitting their shots, they had the good retakes. Boom Boom sent to fall apart. They took a timeout, and after that, everything went smooth sailing for them, right? There was wind in their sails.
Harusnya itu tadi winnable buat ONIC. Ada beberapa langkah yang mereka timing. Kayak itu tadi si terakhir round terakhir tadi, kalau andai kan monyet itu timingnya pas sama-sama ngelihat flip jeder tuh bagus banget. Sayangnya flip jeder yang dapat momen. 3 menit ya. Bentar deh.
Looks like the swift arrow has been stopped by a boulder. That boulder is Boom. Tash Buddy here alongside Conky and Komodo. Welcome back to VCT APAC LTQ 2022. This is our third series for the day. It's going to be Boom and ONIC, the Indonesian Civil War as it is. And I have to say, Boom really showing why they're known as a momentum-based team.
It was really interesting and something, wasn't it? You think at the start of this matchup that it's going to go the way of ONIC, you know, an 8-4 start to the half, 6-piece start to the half, and then the first 4 rounds of the next half. All defuses though, which already in the very beginning is showcasing to us that Boom were very comfortable in knowing how to play the attack side. They just couldn't close it down on the post plan. They lose those 4 to those defusers, but what happens after that? 7 in a row to come with the closure.
Exactly right. Like feeling that pressure, you know, a little bit not being able to lock it down in the post plan, but clearly again, as you mentioned, taking that momentum forward and into the next few rounds and just a clean sweep, right? It's not often you get to see that kind of Valorant being played. played, especially on a map like Breeze, it can always be scary. And for ONIC G, it felt like the wheels sort of fell off at that position, and you can't have that happening in the opening map of the series.
A couple of big rounds to come through from Minyet for sure, but really the eyes were on Famous from the very beginning, coming out with a huge ace, coming out with just some insane plays, one shy of 30. Would have been great to be able to get that, but when you've also got Flipshitter kind of getting lurks around, finding some nice timing onto what you would presume to be a nice play from the side of ONIC, you know, getting into some space that hasn't been attained for Boom. Somehow Flips just is aware of that, and he's able to shut it down.
I'm really liking the way Flipshitter play. He's not afraid to push up, and every time he does push up, he's always good at least 1 or 2 picks. It's so much value in those very high-risk, high-reward plays, and that's exactly how Boom Esports likes to play. Regardless, Famous right now, the 29 kills, really showing ONIC why they are hungry to become the top.
Yeah, absolutely. I think just, again, you know, further emphasis down on Flipshitter. We talked about so much how he is, you know, it's his role to set up the rest of the team, and he's been doing that absolutely fantastically. Still leaning into how strong that KO is. You know, obviously ONIC G leaning a little bit more over towards the Sky pick, and that's shown now that the difference maker is indeed there. Not having to rely on Berserks basically at all, really, in that position, and that's a fantastic result from Boom. I think now they can take this into that next map and start to make themselves look really confident.
Okay, so we're talking just now about Fracture. That will be our second map for today, and we were talking about our own predictions about what's going to be happening on that map. And for some reason, just from what we've seen from trends from Boom Esports, I really am doubting that they are able to take that map away from Boom Esports, just because Boom Esports is just so fast.
Harus ketemu duluan ya?
Is very aggressive. Number 3, they are really fast.
Mereka menang sih di upper bracket
quarter final in terms of rotations.
Well, we just saw kemarin rounds in a row on the attacker side
Alter Ego aja. Alter Ego itu ketemu Blitz. Nomor 2-nya Malaysia Singapura kan. Lawannya Paperex langsung disikat
Griffin, but then there's 2 rounds, a pistol and a secondary where you've already got better weapons. We did not see a defensive side of Fracture yet for Boom, so I think that's going to be the avenue that maybe we see ONIC get back into this matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it's definitely that thing again, you know, keeping to sort of push down in this momentum item, dragging that map pick through
nonton di akhir. Yang map kedua sama 3-nya aku nonton, yang awal nggak nonton.
Like, I think
yang overtime sampai berapa kali tadi.
Fighting up against. The team is hungry, the team is confident, and I know the chat would have been popping off as well. I think,
I don't doubt it. I mean, when you think about Indonesia, every time their support for their team is just beyond next level. It's one of our most watched series, I believe, and I wouldn't be surprised if right now the chat is absolutely popping. So right now, I hope that the chat or you guys at home can be writing in the comment section right beside here or down there. Which team do you think will come out on top for this map? Because I really want to be proven wrong. Because I do support ONIC, but just Boom's confidence today is booming. What can I say?
I think like during that first map, I was a little bit shaky that maybe ONIC were able to take that back.
Belum mulai sih ya. Belum mulai. Biasanya semua pada simpen-simpen kuota nih. Nggak ditonton ini ya. Nyimpen kuota dulu ya kan.
How to get back into it, defend themselves. A lot of elimination rounds were actually closures to come out from that in the end. And I'm looking towards the performance that we're seeing from Famous right now. Yesterday was a little bit in the middle of the pack. Today he's the one taking charge, and if he's got that confidence going into this second map here as well, and then the rest of the team pretty much have that performance that they had yesterday.
Ini kelihatan bagus aja.
Right, Boom, you guys are playing out of your mind.
Ya ini loh yang kadang jeleknya Boom itu kadang terlalu bagus, bagus banget, tapi tiba-tiba nggak dapet feelingnya main, tiba-tiba bagus lagi. Kalau ONIC tetap aja gitu aja, stabil aja. Ya gitu aja.
And I think, you know, Boom is looking like that well machine that we keep
lebih kebanyakan
milih how their setup is done, just because they have Famous as well as
Lone.
Was it the other one? The other Berserks.
Yeah.
So when you have 2 duelists like that, I mean, you can literally run what Paperex ran, which is the Jet and the Raze, and you can take up so much space and put so much damage in. But call me crazy though, there has to be a reason why ONIC let Fracture go into the pick.
Yeah, well, that's it, right, isn't it? You see what scoreline that Boom come out with yesterday against Griffin, you kind of immediately think, alright, do we ban this one straight away? You know if you let it through, it's going to be a pick. Maybe there's something that has been on the practice for ONIC. They feel comfortable enough to take Boom on their own map. What is it you say? If you want to beat the best in the world, or in this case the region, take them on their best map and beat them on their best map. Maybe that is the mindset for right now. However, you know, it has been a hot minute since we have seen ONIC on this map, and in losing out the first one, it's already looking shaky. I really do feel like this is Boom's chance to close this.
I want Haven. I want it really bad.
Itu kata casternya. Ini kesempatan Boom untuk nge-close di sini karena mapnya fracture.
Now, given the fact that we lost the wheels on Breeze, but
Boom di fracture.
Guys, come on, sure, right?
Okay, so you want it 2-1.
Kalau bilang bagus ya bahas.
I think it's 2-0.
I have a feeling it's gonna be 2-0, but this
soalnya
is it,
kemarin
guys.
itu
We're
pas
gonna be
ngelawan
going
Griffin,
to our
kalau kalian
casters.
ingat
We're
ya,
gonna be seeing
cuma
round
dikasih
2 of
satu.
the Indonesian
Griffin
Civil
itu
War.
cuma dikasih satu doang
there
sama ini.
They're looking for ONIC.
Sama Boom.
Guys,
Did you find them, guys?
No, that's
I don't know.
No, nowhere to be seen.
Nowhere to be seen. I don't know.
They're under your desk?
They're not down there. I looked.
That's a shame because I was quite looking forward to seeing them there. Hedgehogs, very, very nimble, as it
We're
turns
looking
out.
for hounds, hedgehogs, whatever. It doesn't matter. But I'm sure this matchup will be a banger.
Absolutely.
The analyst desk broke it down perfectly, right? I mean, I fall under the idea that I also want to see a third map. I also want to see, good action. But yeah, this
kalau ngelihat historinya,
is Boom's home
fracture-nya Boom kayak kemarin ketemu Griffin 13-1. Griffin diobok-obok anjir sama Boom. Pas aku nggak bisa nonton tuh jam 6 kan aku sambil keluar nonton lewat HP kan nggak bisa live streaming kalau nggak salah pas waktu itu sambil nonton gini. Diobok-obok aja 13 mau closing second half ya itu dikasih satu si Griffin mau closing second half-nya kemudian second half-nya dibantai lagi. Kasian banget Griffin, dia turun ke bawah kan nggak tahu menang kalah ya. Menang Cerberus tadi.
They stuck to their guns over on Breeze. It worked
Nggak
for
nonton
them.
aku kalau
Why fix
yang
what isn't broken?
Cerberus tadi.
Kind of stick to what you know. Remember, this is their map pick. They've clearly got strats planned regardless of the composition. And so, as we go into this pistol round, remember, Boom may be on the attack, but they're also a map up. ONIC, a lot to prove here. And for Munyet, he is the player I'm really
dia mau ini nih.
Yeah, of course. Definitely want to see how they progress.
Ketemu bareng nih. Clashing di sini.
Yeah. On this very aggressive tempo, but it's Sensi Slasher and Severine to start things off strong here. Quickly at 2-on-2 and a 1v2. Where did everybody go? I do not know, but all I know is that
Zero terlalu kelamaan.
by himself. Not much health to work with on Blaze King, but Shiro is now approaching. He's got a lot of work to do.
Blink and you miss it, Pavlos. Shiro now 1 versus 2. Blaze King.
Oh no, lawannya dia Headhunter sih. Itu yang jadi masalah.
Can he do it?
Headhunternya masih ada kagak ya? Oh masih ada cuy.
Oh
nice. Ah ini winnable. Karena satu tag.
Blaze King with the
headshot.
Give him that benefit, and we'll be looking.
15 tuh satu peluru doang klasik anjir.
And the map on a high to then open the pistol round with a very strong and very effective round from Blaze King.
Satu peluru doang.
Players who they weren't playing badly, but a very relatively quiet game when you compare it to Famous.
Kena lohe momen, lohe. Nah ini.
And the load isn't going to have to be solely bore by Famous.
Boom.
Prolognya habis ya tadi? Atau cuma satu ya dia?
Just close down ONIC like that. That would be
not
how ONIC would have liked this series to go.
Nggak bisa sih, cuma nggak bisa beli senjata.
On the topic of momentum, both of them have used their timeouts to absolute perfection. And I think in this tournament, these are the teams to look at that you want to know when you use a timeout. Because the second you feel the tide go, there's a timeout.
Ini buat ONIC berat cuy.
Boom.
Boom looking good kalau di fracture.
This is going to be a tough one.
If we don't see any more weapons bought, this is going to be a very weak second round buy. I think we have a timeout.
Perhaps. But overall, I think we can definitely speak volumes about this
ini
matchup,
technical
the
issue.
Behind it, the ramifications of actually getting the
Technical
victory.
issue, ada masalah teknis. Kalau bisa gerak pemainnya cuma timernya berhenti tuh biasanya masalah teknis. Ini kadang broadcasternya sih, observer, broadcaster, player juga bisa.
You're right. When we spoke to we got to speak to the coach of Boom, didn't we? We got to speak to Meow a little bit. He mentioned that out of all the teams in this tournament, he considers the rivals of Boom to be Alter Ego, not ONIC. Which is interesting. Bear in mind, Alter Ego, they went out.
Eyes on the prize.
Yeah, they went to the lower bracket first day as well.
Itu 3 orang DC juga. Oh enggak, itu flip jalan.
And what's also interesting actually is we asked him.
Okay, Chambernya jalan, Famous jalan. Okay, udah jalan lagi.
And he said even if it's not Boom, it's going to be an Indonesian team.
Famous.
It really shows the sort of
Famous masih diam tuh.
How high he holds. Meow isn't from Indonesia. He's South Korean. So it really shows how high he holds that region. region.
Yeah, Indonesia is definitely on the rise, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, looking at both of these teams, their performance, the steady improvements that we've shown, I think it's very visible from the previous matchup as well on Breeze, how well refined some of their plays are. They've got set pieces, they've got B plans, they've got C plans, and I mean, they've got good adaptations and knowing when those timeouts need to be given. I think there's a very big underestimation of how important knowing when to take those are. It shows that their coaches have got a clear understanding of when momentum needs to be built up, and as well knowing when their players
soalnya kalau keluar satu persatu,
yeah, no, the
kepick off satu-satu kan senjata pasti kalah kan. Kalau di pro scene gini udah senjata pengaruhnya besar banget sih. Bukan aim lagi, aimnya udah rata-rata semua, di atas rata-rata semua.
Is really cool to see.
I want to put you on the spot here a bit, Pavlos.
Yes.
We spoke to Analyst Desk. All of them believe that this is going to be a Boom 2-0.
Not really. I think Konki said he wanted a 2-1.
He wanted it, but he didn't believe in it. Are you a believer?
No, I don't know. I kind of want to see a third map here, but Shiro is there to start things off here with a frenzy, but the Spectres just overwhelm as simply as that. Boom to be getting their first advantage here. And a clear leeway to
lihat tuh, Severin langsung balik ke B buat nge-slow down lagi.
Ultimate, really early orbital strike to be wielded here.
Nah, kan? Flash. Dapat satu lagi.
But it's just the one. And they're falling. Couple of kills going their way, not too bad. I'm not sure if Shiro can find
dia flashnya ke box yang kotak anjir, nggak ke box yang hitam.
Is 2 kills is good, 3 kills is great.
Jadi yang hitam nggak ke flash. Ya, kalau udah lewat sini. Sayang banget. Nah itu kalau kalian nge-flashnya di box hijau, posisinya musuhnya udah attack ya masuk ke sini. Ini kan ada 2 box tuh, hijau sama hitam kan. Kalau nge-flashnya yang hijau, kalau dia udah jalan ke sini kayak itu tadi si siapa?
The neons.
Siapa tadi yang pakai chamber di boom? Nah itu udah. Nah ini nih. Nggak dikasih. Nggak kasih lihat anjir.
Perhaps to be used this early, right? You've got that early piece of utility. Do you want to use it on this now?
Kalau udah lewat sini nih.
Lewat sini.
Nah yang hijau ini nggak kelihatan aja kan flashnya. Kalau flashnya di kotak yang hijau.
I think situational. If this suddenly really works for them, then I'll love them to use it this round. If not, then just play passive.
Maunya dapat flip jeder down. Flip jeder.
Towards the other side of the map with the pincer coming in through both Dish and Arcade, but at the end of the day, the A site can be taken over by Boom. A site granted spike down.
Untung nggak di-push tuh.
Attempt under the zip line to
Berserk pakai Stinger jarak segitu.
Temenang
Udah bakal menang Berserk sih. Stinger kalau jarak dekat lebih serem daripada Vandal. Famous anjir. Sayang banget anjir. Famous bagus banget, Tai pakai serif doang, Tai. Dia tenang banget anjir. Dia aduh anjir. Tenang banget. Crosshair penempatan crosshair enggak langsung nembak gitu loh. Di ini dulu ditepatin kepala dulu baru beneran ini. Lihat tuh. Satu.
Wow.
Nah, dia nggak langsung
killing a Famous prior to this round, and then Famous just
anjing bener.
Imagine if he would have got on those kills. That orbital strike, if it was placed a little bit more forwards, it could have done so much.
Udah bagus banget itu tadi cuy. Sumpah. Sayang banget ultinya Brim ini telat dikit.
You just get out of there so quickly. And yeah, now it's time for ONIC to get a buy-in. They use their ultimate, but you know, how much did they get in return?
What's interesting is that ONIC, they took a lot of casualties. Their buy certainly isn't at capacity yet. Bulldogs, Judges, Guardians have to come into the mix here. But is it enough to stop this hit to be? The Null Command's certainly going to level the playing field.
He pushed.
Pushing through the fragment, he just doesn't care. He wants these kills.
Nice.
Pay you off well, but Shiro finds best to put space to put that.
Mending di-push kayak gitu daripada musuhnya dapat kontrol ini ya. Lebih parah lagi. Nah, semuanya dapat satu lagi. Oh no.
So aggro himself. Why is this so close? Why is no team finding any comfort? Really, ONIC does not want to get in space.
Nggak takut mati teh botol.
Hasn't even gone down yet. Incredible. Monyet repositioning. Main entry for Elmimore. And Blaze King is just waiting for the right moment to help his team, his teammate Techbottle to get the spike down. The lineup is there. Oh, what a flick! Oh, Elmimore is feeling himself and Techbottle with all to do. Everything has to come down to this guy out into the open.
Nice.
Oh, but he flukes the shot, and that means that Monyet puts him to his grave and gives ONIC the equalizer.
Kasih game ketiga lah. Seru nih. Masukkan nih kayak gini nih. Game-game yang menegangkan itu seru banget cuy.
ONIC now equalizing both rounds off the back of Monyet having an incredible little. It doesn't have to be a huge amount of kills, but it's 2 really high impact kills in both rounds. Really solid commitment here.
Nah, ini
and
nih.
the fact that you're able to make up for
Anjir, dia berani banget
did such a good job at getting tower control was really effective. Now, ONIC being able to sort of respond. They didn't respond cleanly though, so the momentum is still up in the air, which is why we're seeing the time
mau di-push
a little bit longer. The one thing that goes against Boom now is yes, they have a rolling thunder, but I don't think they're going to be able to use it. Well, yang nge-push ini. Frenzies and kind of a garage buy to try and assist them in.
Fast line open, lari, tapi di situ ada trademark.
ONIC are aggressing themselves out of that B main position, but it is Boom that is reacting very quickly themselves and want to attack this A side directly. Aftershock comes towards Elmimore's direction, ends up killing him. I don't think he respected the distance that Aftershock could cover. Now Severin may be in trouble himself as he's being challenged on the backline. Boom don't only care about getting the spike down. They want to take all space control to deny this retake. But Monyet and Severin might be bringing themselves back into contention. That's exactly what they do. And we're now looking at Orbital Strike versus Rolling Thunder. And it's the
Udah nggak pasti ada orang di situ, berarti tinggal di arah dis sama ini. Harusnya mereka tahu. Nah itu satu.
Help of his teammate. Faultline could be on point, but both players avoid it. Both players avoid it, but you cannot avoid the hot lead of the attacking players at Boom. They're the ones on top. They're the ones at the
jelek banget. Monyet nggak sabaran itu tadi. Monyet nggak sabaran itu tadi cuy. Si NC Slasher lagi nggak tahu ngapain, mau nganu apa? Ngeluarin utility kah atau apa?
Followed up by a rolling thunder, which mitigates the.
Nggak siap anjir ngeliat ke belakang.
The counter utility for Boom was perfect. They didn't have enough utility to match ult for ult with ONIC. Instead, they used what they could to rather go go blow for blow. Now we see the guns really start to take effect. It is a weak buy from ONIC. Shiro having to drop down to a glass cannon.
Nunggu ngeliat musuh dulu dia. Mau
nurunin smoke-nya. Doesn't want to use it yet. He wants to see where Boom have set up, and with the push going past this is going to be identified by Flipshider, and now he's going to wait to see how ONIC reacts, realizing that back line of the map is completely clear.
Yeah, Flipshider is on his own little journey here, isn't he? And as you mentioned, ONIC, you know, taking a lot of space on the upper side. It means
kerasa kalau ada lawan.
Only be in one other area. Trademark for the A main indicates that.
Seharusnya sih enggak ya. Severin harus tetap di sini, fort line-nya biar sampai ke arah ini, biar ini. Mereka di sini aja. Severin sih dapat jackpot nih.
And oh dear, okay. The shot does come through, but who gets the first kill? It's going to be Severin to die instantly. Flipshitter to open things up here for Boom, but how do they rotate around it, right? ONIC with 3 defenders, remember. And the rotation
here we go.
is approaching as well. They have to be quick with this one. They have to be very fast. Trying to open things up, but he ends up falling out into the open. NC Slasher, where the Spectre gets a double. The slide by comes
slide-nya. Di belakang aja. Musuhnya udah lewat, dia sliding.
Booming for Tebotol right now, who is having a really strong map. And while he's only just doing better than Blaze King when it comes to frags, Tebotol's impact in both the kills and utility usage right now is
Slasher sih holdingnya udah bagus sih, dapat 2 kill dia. Nah ini sih karena dia low aja, low health udah.
Taking the neon with him as well means that for Flipsider it's a very easy shutdown. Boom, they lead 4-2, and as you set your gaze to ONIC, you gotta wonder how
ini mau di ini gaya 4 second nih. 4 second dan banning Kai biasanya gini. Nah, di push sama ininya. Oh no, kena juga. Kenapa satu?
That really wasn't too worth, was it? Rolling Thunder for an exchange of 1-for-1, and the push is still commencing from Boom. But when there's a crossfire like this, it might just be worth it.
Let's go.
Overdrive enabled.
Nice.
Hell not. Just put them to their graves. On it.
Harusnya Zero sih sadar ya.
Not willing to let Boom run away with momentum.
Tapi spike-nya di sono sih.
He had a flank there. Unfortunately, this may just be a matter of sort of doing economic damage wherever possible onto ONIC. I want to highlight Famous's play there. So we saw the overdrive get used very early on, followed by the rolling thunder. That was going to catch out Berserks, but instead, an instant dagger reaction from Famous buys enough time to just save his team, essentially.
Timing.
Well,
Timing. Timing.
And Boom on 4. Well,
Anjay, kejar-kejaran poinnya. Seru.
I can do maths, Kramer.
Does round 7 end?
Kejar-kejaran poinnya 3-4, 4-4, 4-5, 5-4.
Okay. Well, now we know.
Now we know. Now we know.
What's interesting for ONIC is that they're now without ults. So that was a very heavy commitment in the Rolling Thunder and that overdrive. With Elmimore having a fairly quiet game, we're not really seeing that that tour de force come online either. For
mau di-push lagi nih.
Is their kind of ult advantage.
Itu Severin sama Monyet.
Yeah, Severin sama to make up for that. And for Berserk, he's having a very weak game, currently going 1-7. He really needs an ult like that overdrive to sort of bring him back up to speed.
Port line-nya.
Monyet forced out of the position with the dagger.
Monyet ketahuan juga posisinya kena 0 apa? Kok 0 comment. 0 point.
Just a little bit. ONIC taking their time on this one. Respect is granted, right? Not too much aggression this time around. And it kind of shows how Boom is respecting it as well. I mean, they've done it a couple of times already. It feels like Boom want to adapt to it, but ONIC are just playing the mind game, right? Just hold back for this one. You don't need to go for the same thing over and over again. Sky Smoke will be falling through, which means that Lime is alone here. Has to do it all by himself. He can have the possibility of falling back with a rendezvous, but the presence was just shown as an obfuscation. The rest of the team, they're heading towards the safe site. It's a good response by ONIC.
Open fast line, lompat dia.
And a Sky Smoke to stop them.
Pakai relay bolt-nya udah.
35 seconds.
Masuk.
Boom.
Fast line-nya belum pakai kan? Belum.
Ah, fast line.
Wah, keslow nggak jadi.
There is so much throw
kena ini. Fast line-nya nggak guna jadinya. Dia rotate. Tapi udah ditungguin 2 orang DB.
Already ONIC seem to be in control. Boom in trouble. What can they do?
There's no time. They've got to save. Elmimore, that
save with 4.
That kill onto Flipshitter just won the round single-handedly. What a play from Elmimore to realize there's a chance it's a fake to push through tower, shut down the opposing chamber, and then
aftershocknya ngedelay banget anjir sama
against them. And there isn't a stronger weapon than time. It grinds even mountains to dust, Pavlos.
Ultra passiveness from Boom.
Let's go.
Immaculate reads by ONIC. Just end this round in a very, very.
Aku pengen tahu ONIC kalau attacking gimana gitu loh.
I love the fact we're seeing a timeout now. I think Boom realized that not only was that round a big misplay, a big blunder, they desperately need a solution to how ONIC's defense has been staged. So what we've seen from ONIC is that once they have that man advantage, they've been backing off, they've been allowing Boom to play into them, and as we've seen from kind of NC Slasher on that B site, they then just dance around the site, buying time, getting kills where they can, rather than focusing directly on just killing everyone. And for Boom, that's really dismantling them right now.
And I wouldn't be surprised if ONIC just pulled the trigger on a very aggressive defensive round again. I mean, right?
It's been working for them.
It's going to mess with Boom's head because absolutely before didn't happen. So Boom are probably going to say, "All right, let's play this one a little bit." Okay, it's a big mind game fracture, isn't it?
What I think is also pretty strong from ONIC here is if after the timeout they then win the round with a good read, that is going to really, really weigh heavy on the sort of stratagem of Boom, and it's going to really put some strain on the IGLs, even more so than what was on Breeze, which, let's be honest, Pavlos, that was a game of chess.
And the games of chess are not what we're used to in today's matches, is it?
No, not at all.
Shows a difference in perhaps caliber or play styles of these teams in the upper bracket to remain. And the fight is still on.
It adds an extra layer of skill to both these teams as well. And for me, this is really how we separate the good teams from great teams.
Nggak dipakai. Dipakai ternyata.
Boom, play it slow, and so do ONIC. Oh, scratch that. First instance of aggression is shown. Monyet, there's a smoke between himself and his opposition. Yes, he's got a teammate to fall back into, but they're slowly starting to linger, right? Decision making lacking. An attempt for an opening towards this B site, but ONIC hold it with 2. Rotations, yeah, okay.
Ini yang ngubah segalanya nih tuh. Ketahuan. Udah ada orang nih, gitu. Ada orang nih. Di push nih habis ini nih.
Of unlocking the site if given and granted they get these kills. Shiro with the first. Elmimore trying to connect with one. Only one will be connecting. It is Boom with the advantage.
Really strong take there, but that was a huge dump of utility.
For a second there, it felt like Blaze King was really close to Severine, but he was under the map. Didn't quite notice that one.
My worry is now how much afterplant utility.
Wah, ini nggak bisa clearing angle lagi dia. Aftershocknya udah dipakai.
Severine.
Blaze King.
Is he going to check his top left?
Wah, hampir aja tuh.
Yeah, there's just so much.
Oh no.
Rolling
Mati
Thunder
dia.
as well. Severine.
Mati Severine. Udah kayak gitu anjir di commit kayak gitu.
Wah,
kepala. Jarak sedekat itu. Holy.
To come out on top. They're the ones again in the lead.
A tour de force hangover definitely doesn't sound like a pleasant experience, does it? No. For poor Monia.
Time outnya berguna berarti, Boom.
And for me, I'm listening to. We are in the first half. And I appreciate it's maybe a bit early to say, but if it's consistent,
wah itu sih, udah kena ini ball, udah kena Rolling Thunder ya kan.
Now you start to wonder how back and forth will this be. We saw the first half of the previous map be very, very close. Of course, considering their reliability on flip shitter, right? Well, not so much, right, on the chamber in that instance. So. Now we're looking at a different scenario, perhaps. It depends how the second half goes, but of course, I assume Boom want to start things off with a bang. Early entry coming in from Flipshitter, famous fours as well as Berserks, but then the opportunity to resurrect one of them. Moniat just holding strong, all by himself. That's all you need, your comfort. Now he's got reinforcements as well, which could make things even more difficult. Shiro falls, Moniat trades.
Anjir, Moniat tenang banget,
He will not come back into play.
Okay,
and that means that Blaze King is all by himself.
This is also allowed
Elmimo jagain ini.
As well. This is so difficult.
Oh dear, I don't think he knows that Blaze King is here, which
Monyet.
means it's a free kill. And it is! And it's Elmimo now on a duel. Orbital strike! Careful, close by! This could be his death, no. Walks out in front of Elmimo. Blaze King throws down a spike, he wants to pick it up. Incendiary to the right-hand side, Elmimo wants to push. Oh, dives to the left! But to a crisp! It's Boom on a...
Anjir dibakar nggak tuh?
What I love about that is for a moment it looked like that utility was out of, dare I say it, Pavlov,
itu
a
mau,
little bit of panic. But
itu Elmimo tuh mau nge-push dia. Dikiranya smoke, pas dibuka itu udah diambil spike-nya. Ternyata belum diambil. Kemudian dilemparin nih. Dilemparin apa namanya? Molly.
Neither of which are favorable positions when you're wielding an operator, because as you know, operators and retakes are such darn difficult weapons to wield.
Holdingnya salah sih dia buka tadi, terbuka dia holdingnya. Harusnya holdingnya mepet tembok nih. Nah ini nih, mepet tembok sini nih harusnya. Nah mepet tembok gini tadi. Di bawah sini.
Oh, okay. Well, Elmimo gets out of it. Gets out of harm's way. Repositions. ONIC are very quick to react to this. Look how many players are spent here to the defense.
Oh, dapat satu.
Making them weaker. Pushes with the overdrive, ends up biting him in the face. And now we're looking at a 3 and 4. This is actually getting a very difficult for ONIC, even though they had the right idea. They were over eager, and it turns back to cost them.
Luckily for them, that position from Shiro means that the Nightfall bought enough time for rotations to get into place.
Di belakangnya
to get established on this A site to try and defend any overambitious peak from Boom here. Remember, Boom with that initial push used a lot of utility, so trying to re-engage onto this A site is going to burn everything they have left.
It's not a tour de force though, it's an operator, which means he can't have enough possibility to refrag. He has to get one and run away.
Nice.
No, he sticks around, fault line concusses him, finds himself a sideline, and realizes I don't want to use my rendezvous here.
Wow, collateral. Nice.
Give him a collateral, and that saves
Casternya juga ngomong tuh collateral.
Situation in this round. It seems Boom had the advantage.
Tersate.
No more.
Iya. Udah susah aja. Mau ngepick gimana masuknya? Utility satu habis, utility kepake kan. Gak ada smokernya mati. Tadi yang terakhir siapa sih?
Really strong rounds, and honestly, if that operator, those operator kills, is what's
kok jadi lupa. Nah ini kill satu, smokernya mati. Iya benar. Tinggal polisi dong. Utility-nya udah kepake, nggak bisa pakai flash dia, nggak bisa masuk cuy, susah banget. Apa ada operator tuh kalau nggak ada util di smoke dia nggak bisa ngelihat atau di flash biar dia nggak ini. Dapat 2 tadi.
It was like, let me do some heavy lifting now. I want some of
this.
this.
Ceder 2 kali aja.
Have a few rounds off, relax. I've got this. Let me take
your feet up, man.
Wah, 6-6 sih ini kayaknya.
That's some good teammating.
6-6 sih ini harusnya.
Looking out for him.
Ini ketahuan sih. Masa nggak ketahuan? Oh no, nggak ketahuan posisinya.
You may be seeing a 6-6 half unless we see some madness. Flip shit in a really good position with the pro.
Nggak ketahuan. Timing itu.
Right position in time.
Kena dah.
In trouble, Army more again. It's got to be Army more, right? And with Famous, all that remains for the Hounds of Boom.
Dia punya fragmen sih.
Spike will be collected, but other than that, there is not much he can do. Might be getting one, but again, of course,
nggak mungkin juga, terlalu banyak angle-nya dan spike-nya jatuh di tengah jalan.
For a good while there, they could have potentially strung their way through to actually quite a convincing half, potential 8-4, maybe even 7-5. But the fact that
ini gimana nih ONIC nih mainnya? Penasaran nih. Soalnya kalau nggak salah Boom itu bagus di fracture ngalahin APAC pernah.
Have both your Neon and your Chamber hitting their shots gives a really scary precedent when you've already got that Breach Brimstone Fate combo, which is already going to make your afterplants so deadly.
Kemudian last match-nya dia yang di APAC.
Crazy amount of plays we've seen. I mean, running through this highlight reel, it just goes to show how many of these have been, I don't know, Tech Bottle just doing mad things, Flip Shitter as well, Monnier. This is a crazy game.
What I think one of Boom's strengths are at the moment is being able to work to push as a team and have each player commit to their role and be able to execute it perfectly. We find that when they try and start splitting up, when they try and start lurking, that's when the problems start to arise. And for ONIC, I think being able to identify and extrapolate that's where they started getting their rounds back. They started taking a little bit early, as we sort of mentioned, it could have been an overcommitment when they had that 4-man push over to window. Luckily,
jadi ingat AE kemarin aja. Dia
was this for either team to get
Exluvia kemarin kan nge-smoke tuh, nge-swingnya berbarengan kan sama siapa kemarin? Pokoknya Brim sama ininya, Fate-nya kemarin tuh nge-pick barengan anjir, disikat sama Yoru kalau nggak salah. Yoru atau siapa kemarin?
It all depends how they pace themselves coming into this one, and of course, as they are now in the pistol round, it may have an influence on how the pace progresses.
Bukan Yoru, ini apa itu? Omen.
Speedy Gonzalez round.
I love it, Fablos. I absolutely love it.
ONIC being Sonic.
Yep, and for Boom, this is time to
cuma satu, beli satu doang tuh.
And on the other side of this smoke, little do they know, chaos awaits.
Not so fast. Instead of Famous, he's going into a smoke. And there's a party of 3 there with guns. Blaze King trying to find some pot shots through the smokes. There's an attempted flank, but no, it's all shut down. ONIC clearly take the advantage when it comes to these trades. Do not allow Boom any piece of that pie. And have a feast themselves.
Elmimor.
Yeah, solid round from ONIC, and I think Boom
looking good
a little bit
today.
Aggressive actually to push into your own smoke, especially when you already had
dish
control.
Sama Monyet.
It feels like
ini
a little bit of
saat
overcommitment in my eyes, Pavlos.
Ketahuan dia. Dia mundur. Monyet mundur.
The aggression of Boom. And when teams are this close, it does come down to which team is making the least mistakes.
Yeah, both teams know each other so much as well, right? So there's a lot of, again, mind games coming into this, right? How are they going to do things we've seen them do before? You know, there's
turun mati dia.
Fort
kemungkinan terbagus sih Fort line turun. Udah.
So
lihat aja.
We're kind of looking at a
Fort line.
Derby of
Aftershocknya nggak mungkin dipakai buat next round.
Let's have a look.
ONIC,
of course, will be running away with the first round of this half, putting themselves on top. Wouldn't be the first time we've seen this, right? Breeze fell in a very similar way, so Boom's rejuvenation is to be somewhat expected in a way. Whether ONIC will allow that is a different
Let's go ONIC, bring us to third map. Heaven sih bakalan seru cuy. Heaven bakalan seru karena 3 side kan, pasti seru banget. Anjir. Pergerakan ini ya, gerakan agentnya, comms-nya, soalnya ada 3 pilihan. Kalau gagal ke E, langsung rotation ke B.
I mean, you know, all of them coming from the same scene, kind of expect them to know each other to a certain degree. You know, they've been around long enough to, you know, kind of know all these players, know each other, be friends. Maybe it might be a rivalry in game, but out of game, you can be certain that there is.
Cuma ditinggal si ini doang, Flipjet deh.
Common actually for teams that are at the top, because what Valorant does very well is you win as a region in this game. You don't necessarily win as a team.
Udah open fast line, masuk. Dah shocking.
In the world
Dah.
stage.
Tembak masuk.
In Istanbul.
Nice.
First
Dah.
off, getting
Dah
himself
kosong nih.
killed.
Mereka udah tahu
But of course, you
kosong,
don't really expect too
planting,
much from them this
retake
particular
udah.
round. Either way,
Mundur ke
ONIC
belakang.
are poised to grab this one fairly easily. Don't want to take too many chances. Boom, stacking up, grouping up. If they don't have strength in weaponry, they might as well have strength in numbers. Unfortunately, they're putting themselves in a pincer. There's players
Nice banget.
and that is how they will fall. Simply, Monia is just putting names to his belt, because why not? He's allowed, isn't he? Making his mouthpiece a little bit prettier.
Yeah.
Oh,
Why not? Timing doesn't
hampir aja kena timing. Ini dia ngeluarin utility tadi, hampir aja kena timing asam. Hampir aja itu tadi.
8-6 the scoreline, and for
Let's
Boom,
go.
this is where things get interesting. The full buy comes out. If this fails, Pavlov's, there needs to be a timeout. If that doesn't work, we're going to map 3.
Hampir aja itu tadi.
Haven,
I'm
by the
really
way.
liking ONIC's attack at the moment.
ONIC?
Bit early to say.
Very early. You haven't seen it buy
It's
round
the
yet.
sort of the latter stage of that first half.
Ini
It's just
Byronnya
going
yang
for seconds.
bakalan
It looks like
ini
Boom has sort of run out of options.
ngelihat
Okay.
Boom
So,
bisa nggak stop
A timeout would actually be
ONIC.
perfect for them.
Very
Really-
bold.
Kalau
to
ini
say.
nggak
It's
bisa,
really
kemungkinan
early
si
to
ONIC
say,
yang
I
menang.
know.
Kalau gini.
But look at Munya, currently 18 frags. He's really doing well.
Yeah.
And if you can further this as well, if you can just keep enabling him, as
Ini
they're doing so
Munya
now,
tuh udah
they're just
masuk
allowing
tuh.
him to go aggressive, to find
Oh no,
those
dia
kills.
kagak
This
jadi.
is exactly what you do when you have someone on your team who's delivering.
Yeah, I like that he doesn't overstep either, right? He
Yeah.
just pops out of the chute, kind of says, hello, is there anybody here? Is there a kill I can get?
Pokes his head through the door.
Yeah. Like, no one there? Okay, alright, I'll go back. Because no assistance, stays all by himself towards the safe site. Does a lot of noise, right? Does throw a few pieces of utility to keep everyone busy from Boom, but I think they realise there's no footsteps. There's no one coming. This could highly be a fake, and they stick around. Rotation's also coming through. They know that Arcade is clear, so it's probably going to have to put their focus over to main, but it's still slow. Very slow. And Boom still questioning. Still 2 players towards the safe side. It's going to be a very long rotation time for them.
Nggak ada orang.
Enabling his overdrive, and
Nggak ada
we'll
orang.
find it
Udah
completely
ke
clear. They're
kontrol
getting the
setnya.
spike down. We're looking at a 5v5 retake.
I'm very surprised Boom haven't made any concerted effort to get a first kill there. This could back
Dapat satu tuh, monyet.
Monyet. What an opener. That long distance overdrive. Why not? Plays King. Out there to open.
Oh!
Wyoming more just peeks in and out of battle, but still unable to find a kill. And see.
Oh! Ngeding doang anjir.
Difficulty finding some damage, but the follow-up comes in from his teammate Monyet, draws out the Spectre. It's looking good for ONIC, but at the same time, this puts pressure on him. Wanting to touch the spike. It's just too much
Definisi
to handle.
run and gun.
ONIC now on 9. Put Boom
Neon
in
itu
their place.
diciptakan untuk run and
really
gun.
struggled on that initial
Definisi
retake
run and
there.
gun.
I love the fact that ONIC, once they actually got control of that site, didn't
Paling
fly
seru
them
itu
back
ya,
off.
nonton
They kept
Paper
going,
X,
and that was the trap. Boom
mainnya
fell into
itu di
a few times on
fracture
breeze. Instead,
atau
ONIC,
di
they
bind,
make the push attack
ada
control, they
neon.
hold the
Wah,
arcade control
seru
that they
banget
initially
anjir.
had, which meant that Boom, when their attack came through,
Seru
all of
banget,
it had
gak
to
ada
come through
apa?
mid. There was
Selalu
no
tegang
follow-up,
terus
and
setiap
that
round.
really came to haunt them, particularly
Selalu
when they were
W
trying
gaming.
to focus the player who would push back from main, and instead
Kalau
they had to
tim-tim
get
gini kan
caught
masih main
from
default
behind.
gitu,
But
nunggu
yet,
bentar.
21-7, sure, it's not a famous
Kalau
but it's
Paper
the
X
impact
aja
he's
gak
having
ada
with these frags.
kata-kata
It's
nunggu.
just
Ini gak
incredible.
kelihatan langsung rotation balik
Oh,
lagi.
that's a pistol buy for Boom as well.
Sayang banget kemarin tuh kalah gara-gara
Getting worse by
Suigetsu
the
lagi on fire kan.
ONIC, a lot of momentum building up for them.
Suigetsu.
Potentially get to double digits. Oh, have we seen this one before, Kremer? Have we seen this one?
I'm getting deja vu, Pavlos.
Getting deja vu. This time around, Boom aren't really pushing it apart from one, so even if one gets it. I mean, it's telegraph, right? It's something that you can quickly kind of anti-strat and know that something like this could happen.
They've actually got players waiting on the other side of ropes here.
Terus
Yeah.
nunggu
So if
ini
ONIC can
info.
play this could be cataclysmic.
Udah smoke
Luckily,
dia
it's
habis
just
ini.
a push to B.
Yeah, they were waiting for quite a long time, and now they're going to start pushing forwards very, very quickly as well. Monyet first to entry, comes out of it. Ooh, open a strike. Oh, what? Berserks? Give me more. Give me more of those. Blaze King as well. They're just
King,
popping off. They're
just-
loving it. They're loving their pistols. And I love them. What is that? ONIC.
Anjir, mereka ini semua 1 HP.
He picks up his gun and says, "Give me this. I want this. This is my round."
Gila, 1 HP semua. Udah ketek-tek semua tapi kagak mati. Itu tinggal 7 XP, 63, 77.
For Boom, they are
Holy.
those victors standing atop a mountain of corpses, or a mountain of hedgehogs, you could say, because for ONIC, they didn't watch their feet when they were trying to get onto that side. The fact that Blaze King was able
Blaze
to
King
stay
masih
alive
hidup
so
itu
long
loh.
meant that the players who were fighting from main, they're able to play the range
Ah, itu
game.
masih
Look
hidup
at the
itu.
HP of everyone
Blaze King.
from Boom. all of them really struggled to convert those kills. All of them kind of sub 30 HP.
Dia dapat momentum time out, mau ini snowballing. Biasa nih strategi biasanya gini.
You know, fist bumps left and right saying, "Good job, guys. Now let's win this."
Look at the ults. Look at the ults, Pavlos. This is about to be a huge power spike for Boom as well.
Anjir, iya lihat tuh.
The option they face
Casternya lagi ngomong tuh kurang 1, 2, 1.
Right now, every ult kind of bar the neon is and the chamber is justifiable for an execution. So an orbital strike will be perfect, as would a rolling thunder, as would a null command. In fact, dare I say, an overdrive has its place, is a little bit more situational, and with ONIC, the only real response they have on the horizon is the tour de force from Elmimore, and with the money of ONIC as well. Remember, they did have a few successful rounds, but they did suffer casualties.
Tapi Severin punya duit 8.000 tuh, bisa ngedrop 1 tuh ketemu.
Every player that falls.
Nah, itu di drop 1 tuh si NC Slasher.
Exactly.
ONIC may have kind of
2.000, 1.400 masih bisa beli tuh. Berikutnya Severin masih punya ini. Masih bisa. Tapi let's
this time around, or Boom can prevail and use the momentum
maju.
they've gained with that pistol win in their favor. Very aggressive here from
dia agresif.
Won't end up going for it. CZ's overstaying his welcome. Fall back. Very composed. I like this from Boom. And ONIC at the same time.
Severin sih dia ini banget sih. Di Legion banget ya. Ngecekin angle tuh tadi dia, ngecekin di depannya itu box itu. Mantan pemain mantan pro player sih emang beda ya. Jam terbangnya. Flash. Kosong. Oke, udah tahu nih, satu ada nih di sini. Wah, kena flash dia. No, kena popping flash. Oh no. Oh, famous. Famous lihat tuh tinggal 3 HP masih bisa nge-kill. Akhirnya down juga. Dia nunggu planting. Berat posisinya. Oke. Winnable. Flicknya. Itu kelihatan cuma ubun-ubun kepala doang. Gini doang.
Unreal.
He joins the top fragger of money.
What the fuck?
Okay, yeah, you may be on the neon, but it's alright. I'm a duelist as well on chamber. Oh my god.
Elmimore is like, love me more. Yeah,
3 HP. Udah bagus banget famous sumpah. Ini nih. Nih. Diding kepala nih habis ini. Bang. No, gak dikasih tahu.
Oh, okay. Oh well. All of them were good. All of them were really good. And there comes a spray down across.
Harusnya nggak down sih itu tadi. Maunya jadi down. Dia susah nih masuknya. Nggak ada fast line. Masuk saatnya jadi susah. Severin udah nge-push. Bahaya Severin. Oh no.
Clean shots. Yeah. But for Boom, I mean, you've got to try and recover mentally, not just physically here.
Look, it's not that bad for Boom if you look at the weaponry. Flipshitter also has a tour de force available. Techbottle, yeah, okay, there's not a weapon in play for them, but there's some drop that he can go and pick up with his team.
And the ults.
Yeah, and he's falling back to
tinggal 16 HP. Oh no, ada tour de force. Mati dia.
But Flipshitter has a chance.
Bang! Kalau udah di level pro gini udah tanpa utility jangan nge-pick dah. Nge-pick to the force operator sudah nggak mungkin sih, susah. Kalau menang ini, Boom dapat nih ini round. Terlalu mustahil sih. Lihat tuh angle ya. Towernya dijaga. Oh, oke. Kemungkinan masih ada. Kemungkinan masih ada. Kemungkinan masih ada. Soalnya dia masih ada smoke 2. Ya kan? Bisa masuk. Enggak. Timing itu. Kemungkinan masih ada cuy, karena dia masih punya smoke 2 kan. Ya itu tadi maksudku, di smoke itu dia jalan ya kan, pelan ngambil 1 kill lagi, kemudian 2 lawan 1 kan, winnable jadi.
just so they can try and plan and maybe extrapolate how they can use these ults to be used in kind of symphony with these weaker weapons to overwhelm Boom.
Oh no, Scrappy bye.
Yeah, don't fool yourselves. The double digits on ONIC as well.
Tapi lihat online semua sih, online semua. Ultimate-nya online semua buat ONIC.
Enough of a comfort zone for them. Very aggressive here from Flipshooter. Steps past.
Flip sih mau ngambil early frag nih. Dapat satu kemudian red the full. Lihat aja. Hati-hati nih.
Flash just peeks it. They know where he is. Fault line in the position, but still sticks around the confidence.
Anjir di-push sampai kayak gitu. Elmi Moore gak takut mati ya. Udah, Flipshooter dapat yang dia butuhkan. Tapi memang senjatanya nggak mumpuni sih. Harusnya dia nge-pick senjata dapat satu tuh Vandal. 2 set. Masih winnable sih. 4v3.
They've got ultimates. It's not impossible.
Kepick satu aja.
Actually, to hold that position for so long, wait for the contact, get that second kill, and then have the discipline to back off as well.
Ini tinggal keputusannya Severin nih. Mau dipakai nggak tuh Rolling Thunder-nya? Nah ini buat cleaning sisi kiri nih. Atau flashnya nggak dipakai? Oh mati. Udah nggak dipakai berarti ultinya kalau udah mati gini nggak mungkin menang.
BM.
That's what I love. He was umming and ahhing about using the Rolling Thunder as well.
I can't believe it just hasn't. It's only just come to me. Right?
Kalau tadi udah dipakai, flashnya udah habis sih ya. Ya. Jadi dia nggak bisa ini lagi.
Bad mana equilibrium. So I guess which is the case between two Indonesian teams. But for ONIC, this is going to be interesting because you have that buy. There's that timeout that I was wanting to see. But now you don't have that tour de force, so the safety net of dropping down to an eco no longer has its teeth that
4.200 ya.
But
4.200 utility.
The Nightfall, Rolling Thunder, and Orbital Strike are just so deadly.
Bisa sih beli ini heavy armor,
Severin. Where you know
tapi sih ini ya. Round berikutnya mereka eco. Itu sih.
Didn't use that Rolling Thunder last round. He had it ready to be used.
Severin bisa itu. Rolling Thundernya bisa dipakai barengan sama ini. Apa itu namanya?
Yeah, absolutely.
Orbital Strike. NC Slasher. Kemungkinan Orbital Strike-nya dibuat ini di tower nanti kalau mereka masuk. Dikasih ke tower. Kemudian ininya Rolling Thunder buat nge-clean arah sini. Tapi kita lihat aja lah. Nah ya kan, Severin beli ini, beli heavy armor. Udah habis ini eco, kalau ini on kalah eco dia.
But now it's going to be wielded, and he's going to have to go up against 4 players ready to go for a huge play.
Oh, mereka mau masuk E.
He's going to have to do some heavy lifting, and he gets one and gets the hell out of dodge.
Nah, udah di-open. Ulti, maju. Push, dapetin posisi lagi. Oh no. Nice. Severin dapat satu. Planting, harusnya planting nih. Tapi mereka kagak planting. Mana? Oh ya itu planting. Planting harusnya. Smoke. Retake ya. Retake-nya sih berat. Habis ininya. Oke, Zero dapat satu. Nice. That's change everything cuy. Zero dapat satu. Oh, udah. Menang sih. ONIC harusnya dapat nih. Dapat nih harusnya. Tinggal 60 ruyung. Wah, saving. Nggak bisa dia. Udah tahu dia nggak mungkin. Yeah.
What a round to win from ONIC as well. For that to be the
itu tadi Zero
dapat
kill satu tuh tadi.
That was our crescendo of our second half so far, and the fact that ONIC were able to emerge victorious, the fact that it means they're now just 2 mere rounds away from forcing us to for Haven.
Flipshooter bakalan dapat ini operator ya kan itu.
However, for Boom, they do have the economy. They have won the last couple.
Ini serem lagi sih. Monyet ini yang jadi ini ya, jadi korban di awal soalnya. Nggak kena.
What I really want to highlight here is that crossfire they had just perfect.
Nah ini nih, itu nih, itu tuh.
He would have had full accuracy on the operator and probably would have run away with a second kill.
Yeah, and that would have prevented the Nightfall, and that would have allowed the retake.
The thinnest of margins.
Absolutely, and it shows when teams are so evenly matched, the game just teeters on a hair's breadth.
Look at this, there's a hair's breadth between Elmi.
Ini dapat 1 kill harus selesai sih. Oh, nggak dapat dia.
Puts Boom on top, but this also opens up B for the taking. But they don't want the B side. They want to push forward. They might be getting too greedy, but it's still traded. Blaze King knows what's coming to him, and he takes them both down.
Spray transfer. GG banget transfernya, tenang aja dia. Udah double digit. Iko berat anjir. ONIC berat nih. Sebelah sama ini. Iko ini harusnya. ONIC sih. Masih di force back kah? 2000 sih sisanya.
1 is all the difference now. And we spoke about how Elmi and Bantu have great games. Yes, they're still top frame for the server, but it's down below. It's the supporting cast that you really have to watch out for.
And now it's economical recession for
Absolutely.
ONIC.
It couldn't come at a worse time for them.
No, it could not.
And now look how they're spread out as well. They're trying to just split onto this B site, but this is where Boom punish it.
Yeah, we've seen pistol wins before, and from ONIC as well in this series.
So it can't happen twice, right? Surely.
I love that right you had at the end of your sentence there had 3 question marks as well.
Yeah,
right.
It has to.
The uncertainty of outcomes. The uncertainty
Elmi mau ngepick sendirian anjir.
No confidence in what
nggak nunggu Severin tadi.
Things fall under the realm of normality.
Wah ini berat.
And no out of
ya kan
this
benar 11 sama nih.
performances have been shown in this
Udah impossible
one,
cuy. Harusnya sih impossible banget anjir. Lihat tuh NC Slicer pakai klasik doang.
It will be an 11-11 scoreline with both teams having a full.
Kemungkinan dapat planting lah.
And
planting aja lah.
Spike.
Lumayan kan dapat goal.
Nah,
udah selesai, udah ini udah terlalu susah ya hidup Anda.
Perfect tag onto one of the players. They know one's on site. They know that the other one has escaped to A main. And now they start to move forwards. Berserk's checking the lower ground. Now, by process of elimination, know that one's on top. Shiro ends up dying. And the only player remaining is Slasher, but not for too long. Only one falls for Boom as they find
ekonominya Boom mulai naik, pas gini ONIC turun aja. Ini ONIC baru bisa beli. Harus menang di sini. Harus menang. Kalau nggak menang udah selesai ONIC. Turun dia kalau mereka ketemu ketemu pemenang antara mungkin Order. Order atau Kerberos.
And for Munyets, already with an overdrive available, we have seen some immortal things from both Neons this map.
Remember when we were giving praise to Shiro yesterday?
Yeah.
Ayolah map 3 lah, tolonglah, aku pengen nonton Heaven nih. Anjir, seru banget asem.
It hasn't been his role.
His aim has been letting him down.
Yeah. Those key fight moments.
Oke, Monyet dapat posisi.
Lets him down again, or will it save the team of Boom?
Close. Ketahuan satu. Dia di dis.
Nice,
Severin dapat kill. Nice, ini harus wajib menang sih emang. Hampir aja cuy.
Behind the box. Okay, alright, we see you.
Hampir aja itu tadi.
Incredible game sense.
The no commands available here.
How much dividends? How much of a difference can it make? Blazing does even things up. Monyet hasn't been tested just yet. Comes out, Rolling Thunder is on.
Nice.
Monyet with 2. Orbital strike falls onto the side, falling.
Nice, let's go, winnable. Udah kalau gini, bisa map ketiga nih, let's go map ketiga. Terus habis itu siapa yang menang aku nggak ngurus dah. Aku pengen nonton map ketiga pokoknya intinya.
And now on his breach on Fracture, Rolling Thunder just set Monyet up for what could very well be the play of
Monyet jadi anchornya nunggu di situ. Open Rolling Thunder, kena semua, dia nge-swing, udah nggak bisa ngapa-ngapain Bu. Telat tadi, harusnya udah tahu gitu langsung ulti harusnya Blaze King. Cuma ya namanya kena anjir. What the fuck?
He wants more of this.
Itu keadaan lari loh. Susah cuy. GG sumpah parah. Maunya down di awal. Udah nggak ada fourth line, susah masuknya ke side. Overtime anjing.
Absolutely again on our hands here, and as you see from
waduh, gak jadi map ketiga dong.
From the chamber. In actually rotating the back site, he's not looking to kind of get a kill and fade away.
Soalnya nggak ada ini, nggak ada fast line. Kalau nggak ada fast line, harus dedicated 2 smoke buat nge-close itu arah ini. 2 smoke di sini nih, sama di atas ini 3 smoke itu. Berarti paling nggak minimal 2 smoke sih. Oke, ulti dipakai.
He can't do a thing. He just has to hold by and rely on his teammates. Nightfall now is no longer there. No longer has effects, and they've done all they needed. Incendiary falls. Look at the rotations. All of Boom players are around, and there's Famous on the backstab as well. Look at the bouncer that pincer them in. And they may be able to do so as well. Sky Smoke locking them out, and little by little, all they have to do is keep Famous there. He doesn't even
ditunggu di sini sama ini Famous. Semuanya ada di sini. Kalau mereka mau rotasi mati udah. Nah ini di push nih, langsung jalan dia. Udah overtime beneran.
That's all that is needed from a Boom there. What an opening from Flipshooter to pluck Bunyat out of mid.
Udah nggak jadi game ketiga nih kayaknya. Kalau begini. Itu tadi anjir. Maunya kepik duluan langsung. GG sumpah parah tadi. On the spot dia flip jeder tadi pas posisinya. Open tembak ya. Hand of wall.
They're gonna leave ONIC to stew in that final round of that half.
Boom know what they're doing.
They really do.
They know what they're freaking doing. And with that timeout, of course, you have to wonder what discussions are taking place.
Ya, ini kemungkinan Boom yang menang udah. Kemungkinan ya. Aku sih tetap berharap map ketiga anjir. Tapi kalau ngelihat ini udah perang mental sih. Udah kayak gini nih, udah perang mental. Kuat-kuatan dah.
Right?
Crazy. Absolutely. And what's interesting for me is that now we enter this now we enter overtime, ults aren't really going to be a thing. Instead, we're going to see investments when it comes to operators. And on that note, Elmimore brings one out straight away.
Yeah, Elmimore pakai operator
glass cannon. Flipshooter still umming and ahhing about it. Now,
yeah, he's wondering, shall I do it?
Elmimore mau main agresif kayaknya.
On Fracture, sorry, can be a little bit hit and miss.
Deep angle atau enggak?
Di sini biasanya. The fact that we are seeing him hold on to the Vandal, but what it means for Boom now is how fast can they identify where this operator is.
Pakai operator dia. Harusnya di situ sih. Kalau nggak gitu dia nunggu di sini di atas boxnya ini.
But you know, with rendezvous.
Ya kita lihat aja lah.
Can be quick, can be fierce.
Oh enggak, dia mau ngeliat yang sini.
Boom, how fast will they go? We've seen
multitude apa-apa cuy di situ.
Plays aggressive, passive, macro reliant.
No, kosong udah. Dilihat dua orang.
Show presence early towards this A site, but that does not bother ONIC. They themselves have gone for scouting duties and they've cleared up the upper side of the map.
It's a huge push on their part, but look how deep Flipshooter has been able to get onto this B site.
Massive.
He knows that he's lost arcade control, but what he also knows is that he's heard nothing above him.
And he's
just
eliminated one of those rendezvous abilities as well. So it kind of lets ONIC know that they are there. They've infiltrated the back line. Makes them think.
Timing.
Oh, ketahuan udah. You can see how cautious they are rotating around. How scared they may be. They know Flipshooter is underneath, but they've got control towards tower, and this is where Elmimore is looking to challenge. He's not quicker to the trigger than Berserks, which means Boom.
Hal yang paling dibutuhkan early ini. Oh, no posisinya Zero sih.
Look at the flank from Flipshooter.
Oh, Flipshooter knows exactly what's up though. Severine is low, very low. Nothing you can do. And you can see how Famous doesn't want to punish that either, doesn't want to challenge it. Tekporo, he's there to stop it. And Slasher and Shiro though are here to stay. 2v3, can they hold
Famous
on?
dapat lagi, 2v1.
Shiro
Wah berat.
Udah
kah? Udah gue bilang, udah ini 2-0 nih kayaknya Bu.
You must throw your pen across the room in excitement, Pavlos, as we see Boom go ahead and absolutely deliver. And it's perfect action-reaction. They realize they've lost control of their backline, so instead they stack up together. And it was the same thing that worked for them on Breeze. Once they work together, Pavlos, when they go as this big congealed force, they are so hard to separate and punish. And we spoke about the attacking operator being kind of hit and miss. ONIC ONIC, they're looking to hit with it. It's going to be the duel between Flip.
Oh, dia mau ini, mau apa?
This is going to be a battle for the ages, a duel of fates, and a very, very aggressive push from ONIC to go for a bit of control.
And all for the pride of the region. Who will stand tallest in Indonesia?
What I really like is ONIC, they're completely separated. They anticipate Boom to push somewhere. They're just trying to figure out and extrapolate where the attack's going to come from.
Double arcade positioning here for the Boom side.
Harusnya sih Monyet tahu tuh.
And they've made the wrong call here. A site is where they're heading to. Trademark has just revealed 2 of them towards that right extremity, but they're not falling for it. They're not falling for it. Boom are so smart. They haven't moved. They haven't moved at all. They're still sticking around to arcade. They're not convinced it's an A hit yet.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
They're in their heads.
And because we've seen Flipside go so aggressive on A, it means that he's going to have the early warning system. That dagger from the KO is perfect.
So big.
The info gather Pavlos from Boom is just masterful.
And the spike is still sticking around towards this left side of the map.
Berat anjir. Dia masuk di sini terpanis Flipside nih. Ini, tolong.
Into the crossfire. He doesn't pull the trigger. No. And he puts Boom on top.
And he doesn't run either.
He sticks around for another angle. Prowlison after him, but he misses, therefore has to use the rendezvous to get out of there. But rotations are coming in for Boom. They're looking to respond. Elmimo though might be in the fight as soon as a barrel appears.
Oh, nice.
Pull the trigger.
Elmimo masih dapat satu.
No more chamber for the defensive side.
Plan. Time.
We're looking at a 4v4. The flash will come through. The push will commence. It's Blaze King on top, and Boom will prevail.
Woo.
But it's still a 3-on-3.
3v3.
On the fight they go. They're not looking to linger.
Nice.
They're looking to push, and Elmimo doesn't want any of it. He wants to stop them. Has had enough. Berserk responds. Shiro.
No.
Yourself.
1v1.
It shall not be. It's Boom on top.
Nice. Let's go. Seru banget anjir.
To another overtime.
It's absolute chaos there on that A site. It's a to and fro, it's a back-to-back, and at some points it's point blank for a lot of these teams. Molotov, yes, it may slow cook, but nothing does better than a good old headshot to warm yourselves up and take you to that second round of overtime. Both teams winning their attack round. This is going to be a battle of the defenses, and for a while there, after Flipside had such a good round, I thought that was it, but Elmimo, the lurking chamber, the lurking operator chamber has such high impact.
Thumbs up for my voice cracks.
Udah nggak ada siapa-siapa.
What a game.
Oh no, mereka gini lagi terfall. Kosong lagi.
Close.
Look how close we've been able to get to the safe site without being spotted by ONIC. They have an assumption from utility usage, but they don't know they're about to appear.
Oh, kecip dia banyak banget, famous. Hampir mati anjir.
It shall not be. It's the A site they hit on. The spike will be going down, and again we'll be seeing a 5 versus 5 retake.
I think this round decides it, Pavlos.
It may do. Although Boom has been attacking around before, we're not being able to
gagal.
defense.
Dijagain
it's
ini.
As close as it could be. Elmimo challenging the back line. Oh, it lines up perfectly for Blaze King. No wonder. You no longer need to worry about the chamber. Now their focus is towards main. Flush comes out, but it doesn't hit the mark. Berserks is still in control.
Nice.
But the timing,
Nice, Severin. Nice, ketua.
Come out on top.
Captain.
Severin is looking to defuse.
Once again, a 1 versus 1 is converted at the hands of ONIC. Their individual prowess now is really starting to show. And hey,
yuk, map ketiga lah, map ketiga. Nanti habis itu yang menang siapa nggak masalah dah. Aku pengen map ketiga.
Round away from going to a third map. Yes, Breeze went their way, sure, but when momentum isn't going in their favor, when you're staring down at 27 and 18 money, what recovery do you have when moving to hit, particularly when the option for
udah 2 jam ya
carries
live,
over?
nggak kerasa loh.
And it all just started with Boom being on top.
Oh, itu timing sih. Timing flashnya. Dia megang flash gini mas ya.
Now they're the ones on the back foot. They're the ones on 13 and ONIC on 40. They're the ones on map point and 1 round away of taking us to Haven.
I like this aggression. I love this aggression from the chamber.
Flip
I love how both teams aren't too shy from bringing out the glass cannon operator on either attack, defense, doesn't matter. They'll still wield it. And now look at the neon.
Wah, ini ketemu sih. Neonnya ketemu sih. Neon.
With all to do perhaps.
Neonnya ketemu. Nice.
Oh, no.
Nice. Let's go. Ayo game ke apa? Map ketiga.
He has to aggress off the back of this. He needs to find a way to equalize the man counts.
Timing. Pas dia ngelepas ininya anjir.
Just putting his team back in contention.
No.
But it's still unstable. All of these fights hold so much gravity to them. Carrying that upper bracket run. Intensity. At the highest of levels.
Once again, ONIC are going for a fairly slow attack for ONIC standards, about 35 seconds before the attack hits. And now Boom have to get into these crossfires.
That flash could do quite a bit. Money on top. Oh, Techbot, all he has to do is hide at the right timing, reveal himself, flip shit into the smoke. Techbot also comes out.
Gak rajin anjir, gak dicek kan angle-nya. Aku udah tahu tuh habis Elmimor mati udah, selesai udah. Momen kita selesai. Nggak jadi map ketiga. Kita overtime lagi.
Wow. A 30 bomb on the horizon for Munyet now. And we've been saying Munyet quite a lot. I want to talk about how...
tuh dia ngeceknya nggak bersih, monyet. Aku udah ngomong tadi. Tuh. Itu dimarahin tuh pasti sama Ucil lu, anjir. Cahaya. Oh, lu gimana? Angle-nya. Gua jadi ikut mati juga, ngepik-ngepik.
The line, but Boom are hanging on by their fingernails.
We're seeing a bit of a theme.
Itu tadi salah banget sumpah.
On his defense.
It's finally been broken by Boom actually, who decide that the Vandal Chamber is the option to go for here. And as they are fairly quiet about their push through Dish, this could be another 5-on-5 retake.
I think the orb may have been heard, but they're just going for it either way. Main in control. Oh, Berserk just swings by. You better know there's someone in the corner, right? On the side they go. Spike can go down. But ONIC, they haven't lost the player. They can use everything at their exposure. I don't think they use any util either. This could be perfect. They don't even know there's someone close right. If someone just slowly walks it, this could be everything, but no. Boom, if they stay composed, it shouldn't be too much of trouble. Blaze King. Oh, he's caught by the sideline. No one had his back.
Oh!
Berserk aggresses himself. He wants a piece of this. Techbot as well. There's a flanking coming. There's a team flash.
Oh, kena flash anjir.
But there's no way you expect flip shitter there. Elmimor is all that
2v1.
Oh, but he has no abilities anymore. He's completely disabled and taken down. Boom prevail. And again on map and series points.
15-14 Pavlos. This is make or break for ONIC. They were the ones who've been in the pilot seat, the driver's seat, pedal to the metal for this overtime. But it's finally a convincing round from Boom back to back off the back of a very successful defense. Now really raises the questions. Can ONIC recover? Remember, they still have a timeout. I would love to see it get used here because they really need it. And now they're going back to the age-old operated duel, the Chamber Battle of Fates. And I, Pavlos, am loving every second.
Elmimor. Attacking operator. Will it be smooth?
I really like how ONIC are trying to do to Boom what was just done back to them.
Yeah, Boom's response as well is immaculate, right? 3 players close by, spray downs all across, could come through, could account for an early pick. Aftershock, a little bit delayed. Too late.
Wah,
doesn't quite work out.
Monyet ini belajar dia dicek bersih itu tadi.
Incendiary gets a kill on Elmimor?
Oh no.
What? There's a trade in the making. There's a back flank in the making for Severine, which means Boom has to move in quickly, have to clear out the site fast. 1 HP from Blaze King. There's no safety to their spawn though. The flash comes in. Now it makes them wary of it, but now they aggress. NC Slasher on the site, looking to hold on in time. They do! Shiro as well!
Nice! NC Slasher? Nice! Let's go!
Again, equalization. Another overtime.
Absolutely perfect.
Harus Cahaya kalau kamu masuk gitu. Cek tuh belakang. Ini nih, box ini nih. Di sini nih. Posisi ini tadi dia nggak ngecek, cuma ngelihat gini doang. Jadi yang kelihatan tuh sampai sini, yang pojok sini nggak kelihatan. Nggak bersih dia ngeceknya. Itu yang bikin kalah tadi.
Absolutely immaculate plays from both teams right now. And as we do teeter and as we do set our gaze on what is almost perfection on Fracture, I'm really interested is to this game coming down to who makes the least mistakes.
I think it's 2 for 1 for Boom being on match points here on overtime.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, ONIC haven't really been getting too many of the first.
So mereka ngelihat nggak ada di situ, berarti udah di sisi yang lain.
So this is getting very difficult. ONIC have gone for something that they've done so many times this game, right? Clear up that upper side. Yeah.
If I'm ONIC, I'm winning this round, then calling a timeout. Assuming they win this.
Assuming they win it. Well, entry may be permitted.
Cahaya harusnya teleport. Iya dia pakai ini rope-nya pakai. Cahaya. Ini dia nungguin anjir.
When one player drops, it's flip shooter, right? Highly impactful for the boom site. Aftershock, that's going to damage Berserk so much. They're going to spray across, not quite connecting.
Oh no, udah ditungguin tuh sama Blaze King.
Oh, this is perfect.
Oh, the flank. Oh, Blaze King.
No, Blaze King. Oh, nice. Di expect, nice. Masih rajin untuk ngecek anjir. Nice banget. Nice. 1v4 mustahil. Ayo map ketiga cuy, map ketiga. Aku pengen nonton map ketiga. Ayolah ONIC, bisa lah ke map ketiga kalian nih. Terus gitu aku nggak tahu deh siapapun yang menang, yang penting ada tim Indo lah yang ngewakilin ke Champion 1. Karena slotnya cuma 1 buat APAC. South America 2, East Asia itu 1, NA 1.
Really looking forward to seeing now what comes of this. What sort of strange and weird and wonderful strats are we going to see come into fruition?
We've been for a treat with 3 mappers in a day. We've seen overtimes as well. It's a gorgeous day for Valorant.
Let's go! ONIC calling timeout, nice. Hey, Cahaya, ini kasih tahu lagi. Angle-nya box nih, lihat lagi nih. Jangan lupa lagi.
However, here's the thing. Shiro's utility usage has been perfect. He's been setting up many kills for ONIC. A lot of Munyet's success has come because Shiro has enabled it, but it's when Shiro actually has to fight, his aim is starting to let him down a little bit here. And in the grand scheme of things, that doesn't really matter, because Munyet and Elmimo are having such a good game. But when it comes this close, when we're going to kind of our fourth and fifth overtime, that's when it really starts to become apparent that ONIC are struggling ever so slightly in firepower. Whereas you look over to Boom,
man, what a game, what a series. Seru anjir.
When you're this far into a
Aku
game,
suka ini. Ayolah lanjutkan ke map ketiga. Kemudian yang menang pun siapa, aku nggak ngurus sudah. Pengen menonton game yang bagus aja.
Now Elmimore's taking up a lurk role, while the rest of ONIC are going to go for a strict default hit through a main, and they know this is where
mereka mau masuk
really
lagi
committing to defend.
Okay.
It's going to be a very fast-paced play because we've seen both worlds here. Oh, look at
masuk dia ke kiri. Oh no, nggak dapat kill dia. Oh no, Berserk nice, masih didapetin. Oh no. No. No man. Boom masih nggak mau nyerah man. Sialan. Overtime ke berapa ini?
With Blaze King, the new top fragger of Boom, the new heavy hitter, all hail the king. Yeah, Munyet may have hit 30 kills, but it's still not been enough to get his team over the line. Once again, we are at a stalemate between our Indonesian deities.
So, Berserks and Blaze King, the double Bs of this team, it just did it themselves.
Yep.
Nothing else was needed.
I love that. Also,
no.
The confidence round. Now we're going to see some aggression.
But you're also seeing how difficult it is for these teams to close out their games.
Yeah.
How the pressure gets on. All right, this is where we close it, guys. This is go time, right? This is squeaky bum time. And it all falls flat because they put extra pressure on themselves and just don't connect their shots as they should be. Berserk's in the smoke! Berserk's keeps it going. The pressure is on. He wants to go all the way around and put pressure onto the back of the line. Flips it on the other side. There's only one on side. I don't think he's been tested yet. Money. I don't think they know he's there. Which means he can do so much when they move out of the smoke. If he slides in time, trigger this.
Nice! Dapat dua. Nice! No! Elmimore dengan operator ya susah banget cuy. Retake pakai operator. Ganti senjata dulu. Elmimore.
So smart, Pavlos. And they're being very slow by doing so, right? Slowly traversing through it because they have no clue where Elmimore is.
Bear in mind, Elmimore on a glass cannon as well means he's going to really get hurt.
Elmimore gak berani cuy mau naik ke atas. Dia. Dan dia pakai operator lagi. Anjas. Berat banget buat retake.
And then Boom just played the afterplant.
Even so, right? Even if Boom get this victory, we already start to think, are they going to be able to close it out? But first things first.
That's that Rolling Thunder.
Close that round. That is indeed a Rolling Thunder, which begs the question, where are they going to set up?
Now, for Elmimore, going through Dish means that you do have the angle to try and isolate a 1v1. However,
Nah, ini nih yang paling berat tuh ini. Ini nih yang aku masuk paling berat retake-nya nih. Kalau dia nggak dapat opening kill, nggak bisa. Tuh. Kelihatan. Oh no. Tapi udah gak mungkin sih, kesusahan sih. Oke. No, nggak bisa. Tapi tinggal satu kan pelurunya dia, headhunternya.
On top with a 17th
Udah.
round.
Once again, Boom find themselves in the lead, and once again, Boom find themselves on the precipice of actually throwing a way around that they were just able to hold on to.
Gak jadi map ketiga, Bu.
It is go time for Munyet and Elmimo, two players who have been instrumental to getting them this far. But once again, look how they've been setting up. It's the same setup ONIC did on their last attack round with the lurking Elmimo, with everyone else hovering around this backline, figuring out if and where Boom are going to be aggressing.
Will Boom prevail where they failed time and time again to close out a map, to close out the series on defense?
Going for another hit to B as well is really bold and really brave, considering how catastrophic it went last time.
Trademark will definitely show their presence towards the main position in B. Prowler clearing out the bottom side, but it's heavily infiltrated by defenders, right? Blaze King spotted after shot, force him out into the open. The aggression is here. Sight will be taking over. Dash comes through, fragment to delay. That's a shorty! Oh, they're baiting for it. They're baiting for it so much. And the Severina come out on top. Flipshitter holding onto his ground.
Okay.
He wants more of it. Stunned up.
Oh, nice!
Monya in his face. ONIC, they're so close to ending things here, but there's still 3 players alive for Boom, and the hope is with them.
3v4. Wah, dan ada Molly. Nice. Buat ngedelay tuh. Ini delayan doang nih. Yakin aku mah. Nggak berani cuy. Nice, semuanya dapat satu.
Can he put his team on his shoulders? And Cindery will definitely delay the spike diffuse, or they're going to rotate all the way around. Desporo is seized in place, can't push forwards, and he's also damaged up a bit. They're starting to diffuse, but can they account for the corner? They're not. Diffuse halfway. Blaze King cannot deliver himself. We're still going. These two teams
masih. Ini sampai berapa nih? Sampai berapa nih? Ini udah 17-17 nih PTW. Halo.
He had the aftershocks available there to try and zone out, to try to sit that duel in tower. The fact he doesn't take it means that ONIC are able to swing his to shut him down, and then have the last player, the low HP player at that, end up flanking.
Scripted.
17 to 17 pound loss. We could be here all day because right now these teams look inseparable. We've seen heroics from either side.
Seru ini kalau kita bisa ke map ketiga, seru banget sumpah. Sengit soalnya, seru banget. Gamenya tuh, game kayak gini nih. Tontonan yang bagus tuh. Kalau terlalu ini apa? Terlalu jomplang sebelah tuh gak enak nontonnya.
It's a big mind game. All of it's turning into a mind game.
Absolutely.
And it's also an indication of how close this region is
jaga sendirian lagi loh.
Right, Indonesia.
Ini loh, Elmimor nih loh. Biasanya ininya kalah anjir operatornya dia.
Aggressing onto the side. I don't think it's going to see too much contention here. Elmimor only had a chance to pull the trigger once, but he's instantly out of that position. Boom with a take, but is it going to be a guaranteed victory?
This is a fairly slow flank from ONIC as well here. Flipshitter, he's just going to spot it
70
out.
ketek.
Suddenly ONIC may be in trouble here.
Harusnya sih mati nih.
Sticks around.
Nice. Nice, real bot again. Nice, mati lagi, satu lagi. Oh no, reload sih, itu tadi. Timing.
The main side of the ace site completely clear for his team, but look at this. Blaze King sets ablaze the spike, denying the defusal. Shiro chimes in, but it's still a 2v2.
Nice, Shiro.
No heaven control of Blaze King, and Desporo has to do it.
Udah kena itu. Diffuse nggak dengar dia. Nggak dengar dia.
He doesn't know. Has to spray down, but he's not accurate with it. He's not accurate with it. Oh, it's perfect in time. Runs out of bullets. Running out of time. Boom on top.
Itu udah nggak denger tuh dia pakai intuisi doang.
18 to 17. We could be here for a very, very long time, but it comes at such a strong
Ini si reload anjir, bangke lah. Nah tuh reload dia. Kemudian siapa itu datang dari rope dia.
He went back around, took the ropes, crossed all the way down, and and then went for his own spawn to shut down, to outflank ONIC. Such a smart play, and what an absolutely creative way to bring match and series points.
Nah, dapat satu. Akhirnya. Udah closing dah. Ini kayaknya closingnya di sini dah.
Unless ONIC come away with magic. If they do, they have other cadabras and
flank.
Get them
Flanknya tuh 3 orang aja.
Udah
selesai di sini akhirnya. Setelah seberapa banyak ini.
This could be where Boom end this series and carry on their run in this upper bracket and prove themselves to be the best of Indonesia and the hope of that country.
Udah terlalu banyak itu. Severin sang kapten nggak mungkin bisa sih 1 lawan 4 dengan kondisi kayak gitu.
Draw the line. All they need to do is just stand by that spike, and it's just putting Severin in the toughest of spots, the toughest of positions. And he's just
nggak mungkin sih, impossible sih. Udah Boom menang dah. Ya udahlah ya, kita tutup sampai di sini.
Do something wrong here, but they simply will not do that. Hope is all he's got. Hope will be dying last. But unfortunately from his team, he may be the one to die last. He's trying to prevent the unavoidable.
Menang udah.
Boom. Get it done.
GG Boom.
19 to 17. A 2-0 victory. That felt like an eternity.
Boom, they come out as ranked 1 in Indonesia. Their sovereignty continues. All hail the king.
Ya, nggak jadi nonton map ketiga sialan.
Try and break this banger again.
Honestly, I have no clue where to begin. Second overtime today, and it was like a tug of war since the first map.
Where can you actually begin with this, right? We can try in the start when it's 6-6 in the very beginning, 2-2 each single time. You continue on with a good start for ONIC G.
Pengen tahu statsnya dulu deh, habis itu
it's back and forth in the overtimes. I mean, how many 4Ks, how many 3Ks, how many
soalnya ngekillnya 30 ke atas semua.
On the edge of our chairs and then 10 miles that way.
I've literally got no words, so I'm going to start with Tash. You've missed the perfect opportunity for Here Comes the Boom, because that's exactly what we had in that series. It was absolutely incredible.
Flank 3 orang anjir, ngeflank 3 orang.
So many times
Zero nggak ngeliat belakang itu tadi juga.
Back-to-back 4Ks around middle of the map. It finally brought it to that 6-6 point. It was tight, it was close, and then we went into overtime. And you guys should have seen us. If we had cams in here as well, we were losing our minds the entire time.
Yeah, honestly, when we talk about Elmi Moore in this particular match, he was absolutely just going crazy. There were so many clutch moments. He really stepped it up. And you could tell that he was hungry to make something happen. Unfortunately, his team wasn't able to follow up.
Well, this is it, right? I said before this series started, that all 10 players in this server have the potential to absolutely pop off, and we pretty much saw that from 9 of them in the server right now. Shiro, a little bit of an underwhelming performance, but you looked over towards his assists, and he was still getting in this series somewhat.
Yeah, basically, look, with the fade pick, it was a bit questionable when it came into it. Definitely the assist on the back of that utility, but I've got to admit,
sayang banget
the amount of 3Ks and 4Ks
bisa nonton game ketiga.
Berarti dia tuh series, and then for it to end up on that 10 bottle last minute clutch in the face of adversity, spraying away. I really want to see how much left was on that.
Jelek banget anjir.
It was bugger all.
ONIC ternyata turunnya pemenangnya ini nanti Alter Ego sama Made in Thailand baru ketemu ONIC. Ya Indonesia ketemu Indonesia lagi. Kira bakal di atas.
And you're pulling out whatever you can, but then you're throwing out the script as well, because people are getting 2Ks, 3Ks, 4Ks. It's just absolutely ridiculous.
But on the other side of the coin, I just really gotta say, Boom's performance today is not just because of the crossfires, it's also because of their utility usage. Their usage has been absolutely on point. In a lot of situations, it's been so good to stall or even just stop the aggressive pushes to come through from ONIC.
Yeah, and one of the things that I was making mention to time and time again as well, when we did have Blaze King sitting outside of A,
udah bilang kalau map pertamanya nggak
I
dapat
was
kan
wondering,
nih,
are we going to see that incendiary lineup that does land over toward that safe default plane towards main? It never did come because of the contest that ONIC G kept on throwing in towards main. So many battles in that location, and one little tidbit as well, I did notice when they were playing together, none of them looked at the ball. Just my little small thing, hey, it means that if they start to defuse, they can't look at you at main.
Nah, exactly. But look, I think the Monyet, like, I'm feeling for him right now.
Absolutely.
The amount of position that guy was able to get, and the space for, creation. If you're watching at home and want to learn learn how to play a Neon. That's exactly how. Create space for the rest of the team. GG factor alongside Elmimore.
Ya semoga bisa ketemu lagi tim Indonesia lagi lah di final ya. Masih ada kesempatan lagi walaupun di lower bracket. Dua tim Indonesia turun di lower bracket kan. AI sekarang sama ONIC. Jeleknya tuh ahli banget ketemunya.
I mean, that's the reason why this is the first match of the upper bracket. It's a great opening, I think, for that. It really sets the standard for Indonesian Valorant. But I just want to say that that match just got us screaming and yelling, and I think, like, if you thought the second match overtime gave you heart attacks, this one probably gave you 3 heart attacks.
That's competitive Valorant though, right? That's exactly what we want.
Gara-gara tadi nggak ngecek itu loh. Cahaya nggak ngecek ini anjir. Yang di atas kan tadi, di box tadi loh aku yang bilang. Di box tadi dia ngeceknya nggak bersih. Itu kepanis banget. Harusnya di situ menang dia. Dia udah menang. Kita ke game 3.
Yeah, this is actually one of the best things about Valorant, because sometimes if you're just watching, you know, the scores at the end, like when you see the brackets, you see 2-0, you think, oh, they got decimated. But when you watch the games, the 2-0 tells a bigger story than that.
Yeah, and I'm looking at this bracket right now as well, Tash, and I'm thinking, what game am I most excited
ini
for?
Pun kalau Boom ketemu Bleed, tim Secret sih ya kuat juga ya. Tapi Bleed lebih kuat sih kayaknya ya. Kalau dari series. Kalau Boom kalah turun lagi ketemu Indonesia lagi, hilang Indonesia di sini.
Is going to just be absolutely insane. Bleed versus Team Secret, 2 of the top seeded teams. I believe it was Team Secret 3rd, just behind ONIC from memory. Bleed at the very top. It is just going to be an absolute belter to start fresh hot. And then obviously that elimination game as well between Order and Cerberus. Cerberus put in a real big fight, but like it wasn't quite enough.
Sampai sini dulu aja teman-teman ya. Thank you udah nonton. Siapa tadi? Arzi. Thank you banget ya udah datang. Kita nonton bareng. Thank you banget. Ya sampai sini dulu. Kita ketemu besok lagi. As always, always do your best. See you next stream. Bye.
It makes it a little bit better, but I don't know, man.
Well, thinking about it, right? AE, Boom, ONIC G. Who the hell is going to be the best? We've asked it so many times.